killer day today, though, guys.
Yeah,
Crazy.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was super nuts. Another successful sample triad.
What's the weather been like here the past week? Because did we get lucky with that nice weather?
It's pretty solid. It was cold, actually. Like not too long ago, we were sitting like 40s in the morning, and so it wasn't. Yeah, it really wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, no,
enjoyable.
Today was super solid. Thank you.
I was like, how do I sit?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, 100% we are filming and going already. So
hope you like your balls online. Here we go.
All right.
Well, you can't get any more embarrassing than that. So
it's all uphill. Right. We're doing great.
All uphill from here.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan likes to surprise us when he starts. And so we just.
I like you, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way. I feel like you can almost get a good 20 minutes of bullshitting him and then ease into it without even realizing
that's it. We're just that's kind of the whole show anyway. So, all right.
I'm going to slow down. I'm going to get going.
That's right. That's right.
Need a liner?
Yes, please.
We've got all of our
Side
accoutrement with us today. We got some whiskey and some cigars and some other cigars.
Smaller cigars.
Sure thing.
Different lighter.
Uh-oh.
Those fancy ones always struggle more than anything. Like you think they would be better, but they're not.
And they always advertise that you should buy one. Like whenever I order them online, I'm like, I should treat myself.
Yeah. They look
to
so
a
cool.
nice lighter, and I'm like, this is shittier than any Bic I've gotten for 70 cents.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they always look so cool, but they work so terribly. I'm not going to name this one to call them out, but
I will. What's it called?
It's got a lion and an Indian headdress on it. You don't know that brand?
No, I don't.
Lebinsky?
I don't think I'm big up on my lighter brand names right now. Maybe I'm out of the group. First off, this is very much throwing me off sitting right next to you, which is fine.
Are we in weird spots?
No. This is great. It's good.
Switch.
No. I don't want to switch. I think it's kind of it's putting the pressure on Kevin specifically.
Yeah, I thought he was running the show for a second. I was like, God, here we go.
Yeah.
I want me running the show.
You're in the questions chair. So
That's right.
What do you got for us, David?
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, one thing I got to interrupt real quick. One thing
I didn't have a
that
question.
always throws me off. I'm going to interrupt that question you didn't have real quick. Okay? Whenever I am like normally smoking weed and then I go to a cigar, I just take a fucking inhale immediately. And dude, it was got into my lungs and I was like, keep your shit together, man. We're on the podcast.
Hold it together. Hold it together.
It's definitely difficult to like bounce back and forth between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been doing I ended up getting a pen, and I don't know if you ever got a disposable pen before, but after a while they kind of sit. So like usually I'll do it before bed or something, but when it gets so low, I don't know what ends up happening to the oil, but like you're inhaling and it takes a minute for that to like warm up.
Yeah.
And so now it's taking that forever.
Yeah.
That when the smoke finally does come out, I'm high.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, those pens already, I mean, that's like such intense, dude.
yo,
It's
they're
like kicking the ass.
Yeah, that's not
My ashtray.
It's not going to work.
That could have been incredibly satisfying if it worked. That lighter, I was like, man, that thing's sick.
Would have looked like the Rain Man making that thing work, eh?
Yeah.
You could probably just ash behind the couch if you want to.
You sure?
Yeah.
No.
Don't tell Alyssa that we told you could do that.
Yeah, she didn't watch the
Alyssa,
podcast.
so Alyssa's my wife. She does all the ordering. She runs the warehouse and the rest of the company. So as long as Alyssa doesn't know, we get away with anything.
Yeah. Well, let's not post this.
this is just for personal use.
Yeah.
Good news is she doesn't like listening to us, so she doesn't listen to the podcast.
All right. Well, then we're in good. Oh, I'm going to ash right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna shit on the floor, man.
All right. You want to get some introductions going, Kevin?
Yeah. Do you want to do it this time? Do you want me to go?
You go ahead.
Okay.
I like
Today,
when you do it.
we've got the arms race guys with us. David Dodrill. Is that how you say your last name?
Thank you. Doug pronounced that wrong for like a year. Thank you.
How do you pronounce it?
Right when you said that, I was like, he nailed it.
He nailed it.
He nailed it. Yeah.
That was pure luck.
That was great. I'm for it.
Let's see if you can get Julian's right.
Yeah, Julian has the hardest last name of
Julian
us
Smath, right?
Yeah. Spelled with a Y.
But we've got David and Julian Smith with us today. Really, it's you guys that run a lot of the company, athlete for the company, ownership in the company, pretty much do quite a bit of it. I think we know you guys. We know of the company. Obviously, I think pretty much everybody follows you on Instagram. But
Only the cool people.
that's true. You're really missing out if you're not following him.
It's like that scene from Billy Madison. You ain't cool unless you follow Julian Smith.
And pee your pants.
Yeah.
And pee your pants.
But yeah, we kind of got to know the company itself and got working with you guys through Doug Miller and Patrick Mabe, because we've worked with Core Nutritionals. We've had Patrick on the podcast. So when Arms Race became available to retailers like us, we jumped on that, brought it in, didn't hesitate to put it in the store.
Available nationwide now.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support on that too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the brand's done well. I think it'll do even better especially after today. We had you in a pretty ideal spot.
For sure.
At Sample Triad. For those that don't know, we just got done at Sample Triad. Crazy day. We left before we had to help with cleanup. So perfect timing on this podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a killer day. I think you guys were talking with people pretty much all day. I have a picture of you taking a picture of 2 other people, which was hilarious because I figured everybody would be taking pictures with you. So
I was like, hey,
That's awesome.
I got you. I'll take a great one for you.
I feel like it was a good sign that you're genuinely a good person.
They were like, how many pictures? I was like getting all over the place, all the angles. And they were like, do you do this? And I'm like, I dabble.
Yeah.
Try sometimes.
Yeah. I'll play around.
But yeah, I was talking with somebody else and I'm like, hold on one second. I have to get a picture of Julian taking pictures of other people.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But man, you're only in town for a day. This is the first time we've gotten to meet in person, and super excited that you made the trip. Man, that means a lot to us and the whole team and everybody here in Oklahoma City for coming out and being part of the event and meeting tons of people, but also squeezing in some time to be on the podcast, dude. Super excited to have a conversation with you.
This is like I said, I've probably said it like 50 times today, but I've heard about the Triad event, heard about how well it's been, and having Arms Race finally in the store where we can come out and do one of the events has been awesome. So it was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, excited to see where it goes from here, man. So
For sure.
I bet we brought a lot of attention to it.
Now, 3 stores total.
Yes.
Do you guys ever do this type of a thing at the other locations? AKA like the one right out front?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, we're at the warehouse. Yukon store is right in front of us. We will do a grand opening when there's maybe 2 or 3 months after those new stores open. But typically we only do one big event a year. It typically takes about 6 months of planning to kind of put it all together, everybody to book their flights and really make the event what it is. We used to do 2 a year, but that was back when it was a lot smaller. Now with it being as big as it is, we only do 1 a year.
No
and I couldn't convince Thomas to do it anymore. So we'll do a grand opening when we open up a new location, but otherwise, man, we just go all out one time a year.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Smart.
What do you guys think of the event? I think especially it's really interesting because you guys obviously industry professionals, been around the block and kind of go to a lot of different events. I want like honest feedback on like what you thought of the event, just kind of overall.
Will I get myself in trouble with other people? I tend to say some things sometimes, and it's like I don't mean it wholeheartedly. It's just looking at it just from my point of view. I thought it went extremely well. There's people that hold events where I feel like it's based upon athletes and, you got to spend the 10 grand to get the big guy there. As opposed to what I saw today, which blew my mind. Other places have consistent clientele. I have never seen more consistent people wearing the supplement stores shirts. Yeah. I thought that was so interesting, and they're even in subtle ways. Like I was just looking for the triangle and everybody,
right?
And like ones that said Oklahoma, and it's just the triangle.
We got all sorts of designs for that.
But it's like it's people that were coming from other stores, which is really unique. It's people that were definitely in your guys' community. So if I can say anything, it's you guys have built one hell of a community. Oh. You don't see that at every event. You see. Okay, we got this person, this person. And Julian's here, but it it wasn't tailor made for that, right? Like, you know,
And I don't like that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you follow me long enough, as much as I like doing what I do, I don't like all the pressure to be on me. I don't like to feel like people are waiting to talk to me or like I'm a big deal or anything like that, which I'm not. I'm just a dude who fucking works out. So when I come to these places, it's like, that's why I like to walk around and like step on the other side and bullshit with people and step, you know, over the line sometime and be like, hey, Dave, do we have a sample of pecan pie? Nope. Well, let's get a free tub for this guy.
Yeah.
You know, just those weird little interactions. I think a lot of people in the industry rely too much on the internet side of things.
Yeah, sure.
It's just touching them from afar. I'm going to chill on my couch and build my business.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've worked in a trucking company. We've all done stuff outside of fitness, and it's awesome to be able to do stuff online and be able to do, it's easy. It's fun. It's not so much easy. It's just easier on you, I should say.
Sure.
But going and meeting people in person, it's like, I would never have met, I'd say every person that came up and I had a full blown convo with and like a nice, you know, connection, they live like 15, 20 minutes. From you. And I'm like, is this your first event? And some said, yeah. Some said they've come here for multiple years in a row. But I've also asked them if they've ever been to any event outside of Oklahoma. And they're like, no. So if I didn't come out here, I would never have had those one-on-one interactions. Yeah. And you can just tell that those people get those one-on-one interactions with your team.
I didn't mean to interrupt you on that.
Please.
But I did see that there was one guy that walked up to you and he was just like, you're here? Like, you came to this? And I think stuff like that is so meaningful, right? Because it shows you how important you guys really are. But on the other hand, it's just like, it's this grand scheme of things of like just personal connections. And I think, you know, I feel we do that extremely well. Like, it's just that personal connection. It's not all about the supplements. But again, like going back to the original question.
I didn't talk about supplements at all today.
No.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be, man. That's what makes you fall. Like, I was kind of having, not to interrupt you. Got you back, motherfucker. But I was talking with a guy earlier and I'm like, I'm going to be real with you, man. Like, a lot of these sups are the same. They're very similar. I think there's some that are a little bit better with certain ingredients, but like, there's not very many brands that are going to be killing it nowadays that aren't doing kind of similar stuff. So you got to really appreciate and love the whole community that's involved with that brand. It's almost like you're doing that instead. Like, you should know that the top 10, 20 brands in the country are probably all at similar playing fields, regardless of how much volume or whatever they're doing. You know, pre-workouts have very similar stuff in it since they fucking started with No Explode. But it's just really cool to see just a different side of it. It's nice. You could tell the work was done, and not to bring up other sub brands or not sub brands, retail shops or something, but like, you could tell that's not there. Yeah. You walk in, they barely want to talk to you. No. Nobody in that store is like, I mean, coming back and having that type of an atmosphere, saving the shirt, wearing the shirt next time they come in kind of a thing. It's just unique. You don't see it that much. And that's why I told you, what's the guy that was working in the front right up there?
Will. He's great.
Fucking cool dude. Yeah. I was like, you tell me when, man? I'll be back here tomorrow. I'm just hanging out with my friends, it feels like. That's and that's always a good time.
It's funny you say that. And it means a lot coming from you guys because, you know, we, in our handbook, we have like a little mantra written on the last page. And the mantra that we kind of have on there is create an environment like so welcoming and so cool that if we had no supplements on the shelves, customers would come back 2 more times, right? Like, we don't have anything for sale, but it's like, you just want to come and hang out. You just want to come and hang out with the team, be a part of it. And I think one of the things that's so cool about these events, especially like Simple Try It, is obviously our reps are amazing and the people who come and bring stuff, they are absolutely incredible. Like the amount of just volume of things you guys bring for the customers, but like, we aren't running sales. Like, we aren't running like BOGOs or BOGO 50s in the store. It's like your incentive to come is to see everybody, see the different vendors that we bring out, see the staff, come see your friends. And it's like, the more I think that it continues to go down that road and us just like as a company doing those kind of things is where, again, it's like, it's not about supplements. It's about shopping with my friends. It's about hanging out with my friends. I can't tell you how many customers that I've been to their house or they've been to my house because like, we're just friends, man. Like, I don't care about the supplements anymore. Like, I'm happy you're here and shopping with us, but like, cause it's how we make a living. But at the end of the day, like, you're just my buddy. Like,
I know you saying that you didn't talk about supplements at all today really got his lights going because that's like huge. He does a lot of new employee training and that's really big for him he'll have a new employee with us, watch him take a customer and he'll ask him at the end, hey, how much did I actually talk about supplements? I'm like, crap, really? Like, not at all, man.
Yeah.
Because when we bring new people on, their assumption is they have to be this expert that knows everything and talks to them about supplements. It's like, nah, man, just be their friend. And if they have questions, just have the answers ready to go is really what we try and do things.
For real. I mean, at the end of the day, they're in your store.
Right.
You don't have to sell them too much. They came in, right? It's not like you got them from a Les Schwab and you're like, hey, you want some subs? And they're like, I don't know if I want some subs. You're like, no, you're here. You came in here without me saying anything.
Yeah.
So you build a friendship, build a little bullshitting in there, and it's not fake at all. I think that's what people miss is that when you are open and honest and you put yourself out there like we all do, then the people that show up to support you are people like you. I tell people all the time, you know why it's easy for me to talk to people for hours, a single person that I've never met at an expo? It's because I've offended everybody on my social media and they're not showing up. The only people that show up at expos are people that actually like me. So they're like me.
Right.
They're not against weed. They like cigars. They smoke. They train. It's anything that should offend them. If they're not showing up.
Yeah.
So you know that when they're there, it's just a good time.
Right.
If you were trying to be someone that you weren't, the people that do like the things you were trying to pretend like you liked wouldn't buy into it. They wouldn't believe that you actually like those things. So if you just go head first into the things that you like, you'll attract the people that are like-minded.
We always, it's funny because it's a topic that gets brought on the podcast a lot. And I think we kind of have like a little saying that goes with it is like, don't make pina colada without coconut, because like, if you do, it's for fucking nobody, because nobody who doesn't like pina colada is going to buy it just because why would they even know it doesn't have coconut? And people who do like pina colada aren't going to like it because it's not actually fucking pina colada. So it's like, at one point it's like, stop making pina colada without coconut. Just dive into it. Go for it.
People need to double down on who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, people will ask me sometimes and they'll say stuff about like, what do you do about like the haters or the people that are tearing you down or the people that don't support you? And bro, like if you're hearing about people talking shit, there's a community definitely talking shit. Yeah, right. If you see somebody saying something, how many people are not saying it?
Right.
How many people are thinking it?
Right.
How many people think that you're a fake natty? How many people think that you're full of shit? How many people think all this stuff? But it's like most people, like if you put all that stuff out there, it's like you don't ever get them a chance to be put in a weird situation where they don't know you. It's kind of like, what if I wasn't open and honest about drinking, smoking cigars, or smoking weed, and then somebody meets me in person? I actually had this happen years ago at a bodybuilding.com event. Someone came up to me and they kind of didn't scold me, but they were like, I was a big fan of you. And then I realized how much you smoked cigars, and his dad passed away from mouth cancer. And I was just like, that's like a perfect example of a nice guy, and just a personal situation took him away from me. Yeah. He's like, it's not that I don't like you. He's like, it's just, he's like, he felt like it was, not thought out thing to be putting out. Yeah. It's like, you're making it look cool. It's like, well, it is. But it's the same thing where it's like, I didn't stop. Yeah. And I told them, I'm like, I go through cycles of stuff. There might be 5 years from now where I'm like kind of burned out on weed. Yeah. It might be. I don't think so. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be bailing on something because one guy said that. Right. Because what if I make that one guy happy and then the 1,000 people that followed me because I smoke, or cause they're just like me, then they're like, well, fuck, man. Yeah. So shit. Yeah, what is this guy?
I gotta imagine, because you're at 1 million followers, right? I gotta imagine that you have dealt with your fair share of people sending hate your way to get to that point. I can't imagine you get to that point without dealing with that. How do you get through things like that?
It's kind of like what I just said. It's, it used to get to me in the beginning. To be honest, the things that would get to me really hard in the beginning was the fake natty stuff. Because I was like, I'm not a liar. I don't do that kind of stuff. So to have somebody get on there and start talking and tearing you down, and you know how trolls are, they'll name what you take and why you're full of shit. I'll tell you the doses, motherfucker. Yeah. You're not natty at all. Yeah. But I remember thinking about that kind of stuff and just being like, well, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to look believable, right? Like if somebody, I can't tell you how bothered I would be if somebody got on my page and was like, this dude looks fucking natural. I'd be like, oh, damn it.
That's such a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
man.
you're just so like, funny. If that happened to me, I'd be like, bring on the shit talking. Yeah. Make me feel like crap. But then when someone says something you don't want to hear, you're like, fucking bullshit. But I think, like I said, I see somebody talking shit, right? And it's like, it's never really that bad, because it's always like, bro, this is dumbass exercise. Or bro, you're not fucking natural. But it's like never really anything that goes further. But then you get onto like Reddit and you're like, man, these guys, I mean, they hate you. They hate you. Yeah. It's not even like, bro, I think this guy's on gear. I think he might be toting the line, blah, blah, blah. It's like, these guys are like, this guy's a piece of shit. I've had people say that they hope that my wife had a miscarriage.
Oh my God.
Like
dude.
just gnarly
People
shit. Just
online.
like out of nowhere, dude. But what people need to remember is if they're talking shit about you, there's a bunch of people talking shit somewhere that you haven't seen yet. So I just kind of go into everything being, open, honest, nice to whoever. But like, dude, I kind of got like a 1-strike policy. Mm-hmm. If you're going to make me feel weird in person once, I'm never going to be your friend again.
Yeah.
I got one. I don't have time.
Yeah.
To make friends with somebody that fucking made me feel weird when I just met you. Yeah. You're not a buddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think being, kind of just thinking to yourself, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are talking like that, but just be fucking stoked when someone's not.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
Absolutely.
I've never thought about it that way. If somebody were to be like, this guy looks natural.
Dude, it's such a double-edged sword.
This guy's legs are absolutely achievable. Fuck. God damn it. You're like, thanks. You fucking prick.
Yeah, shit.
You hate them no matter what they think.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Can't make this guy happy. Just
Dude. And that's one of the things, like even from a different perspective, that kind of goes along the same lines that we deal with in the store is like, customers maybe on their first time in or don't know. So, and you guys might not know too. So to just kind of explain to you guys, like we do a pretty different system when it comes to paying our employees than what a traditional supplement store does. And it's not to say anything bad about a traditional supplement store, but we don't really do like a direct commission. We don't do like big kickbacks on like certain products, even defined products, like whatever. We profit share. So there is like, it's just a percentage based off your employment status. And it doesn't matter if it's a defined product, if it's an arms race product, if it's a whatever, it just, we just share it. Right. And so we have no incentive, at any real like dollar amount level to incentivize an employee to sell one product over another. It's really just, we're just there to help, right? Is kind of the idea and what we really try to push for. So what will happen though, is we will have customers who maybe have never been with us before and they don't have that experience with us. And what they expect is us to be, your prototypical, like used car salesman, like supplement store. Sure. And they come in and they're very standoffish and they're very like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything.
Almost like waiting for confrontation. Right. Like you could tell they're ready to yell at you. And it's like, we have to train our employee literally in the training process. You get taught like in our, like we'll do situations and when those happen, one of them is like learning how to deal with that because they don't know us from anybody. And so it's really easy to get like offended, but you have to just realize that like, at least in that situation for us, it's like, this person doesn't know us. Yep. This person doesn't know a thing about us and what we do. And the fact that we're trying to do this right and we're trying to do it different or whatever. And it's like, so you kind of have to just let it roll off your back because if you focus too much on it, it's like, man, like the cooler you are and the more you're just like here to help, it will shine through eventually. Like the more genuine you are, the more it will eventually just come through.
Yeah. Can not that you're going to say no to this, but can I give you guys a compliment?
Yeah.
So
absolutely not.
No, don't need it.
If you're about to say my legs are achievable, I'm going to try.
Super achievable.
So,
over here. Hey, fuck you.
So me and Pat sat in on your guys' 8 a.m. meeting yesterday. It was 8 a.m., right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was really blown away by something. And I mean, I don't know how much you guys do know about me. There's not a single GNC in this country I haven't been in. Can't say about Vitamin Shop. I've done a lot, but
he's like 2 or 3 vitamin shops.
Yeah, only 2 or 3.
Yeah,
no, I've been in a lot of vitamin shops. Super supplements I've done. But what was really impressive to me yesterday was I don't know if you cut this out if it's not. No,
it's
you guys.
fine.
We are very
transparent.
Full disclosure, yeah.
But the $100 for that review, that to me was one of the most amazing things in like just as a retailer I've ever seen. Like you definitely have a group of people, and me and Pat were talking about this, but like it's like you guys have Chick-fil-A employees. Like you have this younger generation that just get it. and you guys are giving back to these people and everyone's bought in. And like, you know, like we have our own stores on like the nutrition corner sides with Doug, and, you know, great group of people, great culture. Your culture is just a little different, but it's phenomenal. And just to read that, like somebody, just so you guys know, listening to this, hopefully if you work in a store, this makes sense. But usually if you get a bar customer, like retailers go, okay, they're going to ruin my average. Somebody left a review, called out Will, who we mentioned earlier. And it's like, this guy sent me a thank you card. This guy helped me out. He's willing to call me over a snack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the shit I love.
Yeah.
It's not about sales. Help the person walking through the door.
All day.
And you guys really understand. I don't want to say the word, I would say empathy in a way, right? But you guys just truly are building a culture that I have not ever seen before. Like I've never seen anything that cool and that touching in all of the country. Like that was cool to me, because like, you don't have to do that. You didn't have to give him anything. You could have been like, hey, good job, man. But no, it's like, hey, let me reward you because this is above and beyond. So that to me was hands down one of the coolest things I've ever seen doing this job.
Man, that means a lot, because it stems from a lot of just kind of random trial and error. But a big part of it, what Thomas was talking about earlier, is our employees don't run off commission, individual commission. It's profit sharing system. So if your store's doing well, you make a little bigger chunk. If it's not doing so well, you make a little bit less. It's the incentive of not getting that single person to buy a bunch, but getting that person to come back repeatedly. And every single person that coming in regularly, creating a loyal customer base, not just a top dollar sale for every single person that comes, trying to get the most out of every single person that comes in. But without commission, it is a little difficult to keep an eye on employees and how well they're doing with all the products in the store, because it is dynamic in there. That's for sure. There's products we want to move, and there's products that we definitely don't. There's products that have good formulas, and there's products that are on the shelves because they're really popular on TikTok. But things like the 5-star review are a major sign that you're doing really well with customers. You're treating them well, and you're getting them actually genuinely good help, because not everybody that gets good help is going to write a 5-star review. It's roughly 1 in 1,000 people will take that initiative to go write that 5-star review and remember your name to put it on there. So it's a sign that employee is actually giving genuinely good customer service and not just sitting back and letting the rest of the team do the work. Yeah. So it's become a way to kind of keep tabs on employees and that maybe is put in a poor way, but like a way to check in and make sure that everybody is actually pulling their weight and doing everything they can to help that person.
Because it's technically a group project, right? And
Right.
someone could be killing it while the goofball jock isn't doing shit and reaping the rewards. And that would piss off a top salesman, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it seems like you guys, I forgot the kid's name already, but it's somebody was back there when I was heating up. What was I doing? Grabbing water or something, sitting back there. I was getting the pump done. And I was just chatting with this kid back there, and he was like, dude, I worked somewhere prior to this. And he was like, it just wasn't very fun. He's like, and then I've been here for a year, and he's like, this is awesome. And he's just bullshitting with me. Nobody else was back there, and he just felt the need to say that. And I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm like, it kind of reminds me, how old are you guys?
I'm 31.
32.
So like, you guys, have you ever been to like a skate shop?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's like, I call it skate shop vibes, where it's like you have all this shit for sale, but there is a couch and a TV going to keep you there. It's I'll go to skate shop and hang out.
Yeah. I don't
And
even
then
buy
before you
anything.
know it, I've been here for an hour and a half. I'm like, I should pick up some wheels.
Yeah.
Because you get some fucking bearings. You know what I
Right.
mean? And when you build an atmosphere like you guys have, it's fun. It's cool. They know their buddy. They're stopping by to say hi, and I'll grab some shit while I'm there too. You know?
Not to get too much off on a tangent, but you've gotten really into skateboarding, haven't you?
I've been into skateboarding since I was a kid.
Okay.
Literally stopped skating in my early 20s when I really dove deep into bodybuilding. Because, back then before social media and before If It Fits Your Macros and all that stuff, I used to have a coach who'd be like, if you want to get big, you stop burning calories elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, well, I don't want to skate. Don't want to go snowboarding. Don't want to build the necessary calories if I'm having a hard time getting that food in.
Yeah.
Stop burning everywhere else, And then before you know it, it's just like 2, 4, 6 years go by. But recently I've gone snowboarding every year for 3 years straight. getting back into skateboarding, but it rains, 7-8 months out of the year. Not rains, but just a little bit more wet. Can't do it, but just getting back into it. I like, I've always enjoyed being the dude that's like built, but you're like not doing stuff that a built person would do. Like you'd see, like I always used to see like jacked like wakeboarders. I'm like, how are you fucking that big? And you're like winning silver at like whatever. I'm like, or some dude who's like, at the park and he's playing frisbee, or like just people that are doing their normal shit that they enjoy, playing video games, skateboarding.
Very functional.
It's like, but you're still a bodybuilder. It's like, damn, that's a hard thing to just throw into the mix of everything else. But it's cool.
That was I saw a post from you at one point in time of like you kind of picking it back up, and that was honestly probably right around the same time that I was kind of getting back into it, because I grew up middle school through pretty much all of high school. I skated like probably 5-6 hours a day, like buddies at the park, going to spots, traveling, like all of that stuff. And it was kind of a similar route, man, where I wanted to get as big as possible, and then my wife and I decided to do some rock climbing for like a date night, and I was out of breath after one half trip up. Yeah. And I was like,
better do this.
I don't really feel great. But I dropped weight. I was probably about 250 pounds at that point trying to rock climb, and I did it, but got down to more around 210, and I kind of started picking up things like skateboarding and stuff and hitting the park. It gets so addicting so quickly, man. Is. Yeah.
And I think what's fun about that kind of stuff is like you're not on your phone.
Yeah.
And bodybuilding, you have to, like true bodybuilding. I'm not talking like exercising. I'm talking about like beating yourself up and waiting for a minute and a half to go by so you can actually achieve the next set. Like really not trying to get at 40-second rest, like do the thing. There's so much time to get on your phone. There's so much time to it seems wasteful to sit there for a minute and a half if that's on your clock and be like, well, I better do something while I'm fucking sitting here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it just takes away from it. And anything that snowboarding is probably number one, because it's like I don't think I take my phone out that entire day. Once I'm on, you're so fucking uncomfortable. Well, not uncomfortable, but like you're so zipped up, everything's all cinched up so nothing falls out. I'm like, I'll just get my phone later. Worry about the joints falling out. But
take my phone, but not my joints.
Retire me. I'm done with this shit. But no, it's fun to do that kind of stuff. And it's especially fun when you kind of have when you're a grown up and you have a full blown job. It's like, I used to play the piano when I was young, and I was thinking about it. I was like, my parents were talking about getting rid of their piano. And I was like, I kind of want to just do that again. Just to be the dude who's buff and can play the piano. Like, why not? I haven't done the piano since I was probably 8th grade. I did it all through elementary school to junior high. And before you know it, it's not cool. So I didn't want to do it anymore. I switched from skiing to snowboarding like a fucking loser. Just kidding. Snowboarding's rad. But it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, then when you're established enough and you're old and you got your shit going on, it's like, dude, go after the things that you like. I collect Pokemon cards again. Yeah. Fucking dude, I don't give a shit. I'm doing anything that's going to make me happy. You know what I mean? That's like my gym. It just turned into I wanted to walk into my gym and have the entire murals, flags, equipment, stickers, everything about that place to set me up for a workout. Yeah. I don't want something in there that's throwing me off. I don't want some person in there that's being a dickhead. Like I handpick and select the people that come into my gym. Obviously it's our private spot, you know what I mean? But like we probably have 15, 20 people in there that I've gifted memberships to. It's free. But I'm like, you're actually bringing value to me. I'm excited when I see you can train.
Helping the gym.
Taking away from me. What's charging you $15 fucking dollars? Put nothing on my table.
Because the gym's not there to make money for members, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's there for, think of it like an office. Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting my work done. I'm leaving.
Every gym bro would love to have a gym as an office.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
You'd be surprised at how many people go over there and tap on that door like it's an office. My dad will show up and be like, what's up? And he'll just walk in while I'm squatting and he'll go get into the bathroom and take a pee. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're all doing stuff here. It's like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, technically working, but it feels stupid to say that to my dad who was a trucker. So I'm like, let's go sit in the loft and have a drink.
Yeah. So that's whatever. That's actually a question I had. How do you explain your job to people that don't know the fitness industry or you on Instagram?
You know what I say?
What do you say?
I say I'm a trainer.
You're a trainer.
I tell them that I have a supplement brand and I'm involved with in the fitness world, but it's so hard to explain the Daily Pump app to somebody. Mm-hmm. I had a hard time explaining it to my parents.
Really?
They're older. My mom's in her 70s. My dad's close to 70. And, just old school guys till the last day I worked in the trucking company in my mid 20s, somewhere in there, they were still doing everything with like paper. keeping it as old school as possible kind of a thing. And he just, he called, if my dad watches this, he'll laugh at this shit, but he would call bodybuilding.com bodybuilders.com. He's like, you still working with bodybuilders.com? I'm like, Dad, I have a supplement brand. That was like 4 years ago, but he's still saying that stuff. So he's got a good heart. He loves it. He supports the hell out of us and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a unique thing.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because what all are you involved in? Obviously you have the content, you have the training business is a big one for you.
Yeah. That's the Daily Pump membership app.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's our main one.
I have talked to so many people here that have used that. So I've talked to other trainers here in Oklahoma City that are like, man, I follow along with it and take inspiration on putting together my own workouts.
Yep.
It's crazy how much influence you've had here just in Oklahoma City within the fitness community, man. It's super cool.
Yeah. I love it.
You have obviously Arms Race.
Yep.
You have the gym clothing and equipment, right?
Yeah, so it's technically, we have Arms Race Nutrition for the subs. Clifford Lennox is the clothing. But Clifford Lennox started doing belts, which went into merch, which went into clothing. And now, it's turned into its own little individual thing. Literally, when we started Clifford, it said Clifford Lennox Belt Co. That's what it says on the belt still to this day, because we didn't think we'd ever do anything besides belts. We started Clifford Lennox with a 300 belt minimum order and dropped that once we had, I think, 350 people on a wait list. Like I wore my belt, I think, for 7 months, 7 months, somewhere in there straight. And we waited for people to ask for it. Because I just wanted a belt. I don't know if you guys knew that, but when I started Clifford Lennox back in the day, I just put that name on a belt and wore it for like 7 months. And then everyone's like, where can I get that belt? I'm like, well, if you guys want it, maybe I'll put together a wait list. And it got up to enough that we met the minimums, made sure that it was all kind of paid for prior. And then we just flipped it immediately. It was it was a really fun thing. And in that whole thing, got to pay a little, props to the big man, Bradley Martin. He helped out a tremendous amount.
Okay.
When I was down there doing stuff, I was only a belt company. Went down, did a podcast. That's how this shit happens, man.
Yeah, right.
Did a podcast with Bradley Martin, and we just started chatting. He's just such a nice guy, thoughtful. He's one of those dudes who puts his connections out there if it could help somebody. And we just started talking. He's like, man, if you can do this with belts, he's like, I think I'm going to get you in contact with the guys that I work with, and we're going to get you some clothing going. And he pretty much started our clothing brand.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's how it works, man.
Where did the name Clifford Lennox come from?
So Clifford Lennox came from, we call, I don't know if they refer to it as your stripper name or your prostitute name or whatever it was, but it's the street you grew up on and your first pet, or your first pet, then the street you grew up on. My first dog was Clifford, and I grew up on Lennox Street. And I did it like drinking on a back porch with Casey back in the day, and we were just doing it on a live. And I was like, there was like 200 people on there, and I was like, if I ever make a company, only you guys are gonna know about this, and we're gonna take it to the grave. And now I leak it every once in a while. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was definitely cool.
Dude, names of stuff like that, I feel like it makes it more fun.
Well, hold
because
on. What's yours? What would yours be?
What would my
First pet and first street?
First pet?
Mine's good.
Jesse Valley.
Ooh, Jesse.
Dang, that sounds like a Chip and Dale guy.
You gotta pay extra to see my valley.
Yeah. Oh, what you got?
Mine would be Shaboom Meadowbrook.
Whoa, that's a graphic porno. Yeah, that's a sequel to an already graphic.
You're in
porno.
the hardcore.
Yeah,
category.
My grandmother named that dog Shaboom. So
whoa, she's in it too. Yeah. What about you? What do you got?
Oh, mine's weird. Zeus Wabash.
Ooh. You actually sound like a professional football player.
Yeah.
You actually sound successful. All right, never mind.
Where did you go to college?
Damn it,
You sound like a badass defensive end.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're successful.
Sack by Zeus Wabash.
You should try something different, David.
That's too funny.
Yeah, but just funny how that stuff works. I think it's kind of like Triad, to be honest. Does Triad stand for anything?
It stands for the more public meaning is very much of the combination of to make a difference in your health overall. It should be exercise, actual food, and then supplements. And we found ourselves saying that. So our history, we come from Supplement Superstores, Thomas and I, same guys that own First Form. So we started at their first store. And the one thing that we felt like we kept explaining to people is that it's not all about supplements. Supplements won't do the work for you. They will do the last portion of it. You have to have good food as your base. You have to have good exercise, and then we can kind of sprinkle some supplements in there, and then that will make a difference.
Yeah.
So that's where Triad kind of came from, was the combination of the three things, not just one or the other.
Cool.
And the kind of the underlying meaning is we've always had three people involved with the company. It's never been just one or two people.
Yeah.
It's always been, so me and two regional partners to start. When those partners left, we immediately hired two new people. So we had three people. So it's always been at least three people. It's kind of the secret meaning behind it.
Cool.
Triad.
But I like that stuff. It's like everybody in the fitness world, it says supplements, it says nutrition, it says alpha, it says like everything that you would just think is fitness related. And it's just enough different that it's almost like intriguing. We've
even found that even when we kind of get into some other stuff that we're doing, like other areas that don't necessarily involve Triad is, we've realized, is just a memorable enough name that it's like, oh yeah, you're with Triad, right? It's like, yeah, but not right now. Like that's another association, but I'm working with, our brand Defined Nutrition. Like when we're working with like manufacturers or something, they'll write Triad on the sample tubs. It's like, guys, this isn't Triad.
Right. No,
but that's a memorable name.
Actually.
Oh yeah.
But it is funny too, because like you said, like, and then little things will come from of that. Like one of the big ones was, because we have the orange triangle, there was a kid in the store one time who like looked up at the wall that had like the triangle on it and was like, that looks like a Dorito. And so for the longest time, we secretly called our, like, not secretly, but just like behind closed doors, called our like group chat like the Dorito Gang.
Yeah.
And then it's like we made Dorito Gang shirts,
That's
like
sick.
Dorito Gang hashtag stuff. And it's like, but it's just little things like that where it's like, what the fuck is Dorito Gang? And it's like,
did you give that guy royalty?
Yeah.
Hey, this guy came up with Pump Pup Pass for Clifford. We gave him one of the shirts. Yeah, we give him props. Yeah. We like.
That's my claim to fame, right?
That's right. you bite style from everybody who's around you, and like I say, like I only involve people that are a friend that are around me, and it's like people that influence me in a positive way around me. So it's like I'll be sitting there bullshitting with Dave, and I'm like, that's a fucking good idea. I would say almost every idea we come up with Clifford is bullshitting at the gym, or someone's over and we're like, that'd be fucking funny, dude. And we're like reps and reefer, whatever it might be.
That's one of my favorite things we do. Like we'll just kick around ideas like, oh, this would be a sick video. Yeah. Like it's just like you get ideas, and when you get like-minded people that find your sense of humor. This is the day I knew I liked Julian. He was like quoting something from Paul Rudd. And I was like, we're gonna get along. Like I'm an encyclopedia for Paul Rudd.
That reminds me, this is a total tangent, but the day that my wife and I realized that we were probably going to be together forever was like the second time we ever hung out. And we both realized our favorite commercial was the exact same commercial. It's the one with Kevin Bacon, where I think it was back when like TiVo or DVR was a thing. And it's Kevin Bacon dressed up as like an old man, and he's like TiVoing all the Kevin Bacon movies.
Oh, I've seen that one. That's fucking hilarious.
He's like, the funniest part is, my wife says if I watch any more Kevin Bacon movies, I might turn into him. Crosses his fingers.
It's so fucking good.
And like we realized, like she started talking about it. I'm like, that's my favorite commercial. And she's like, oh my God, I love you.
But that's also the kind of stuff I'll tell people that are trying to do stuff online. Like if you think it's funny, post it.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're not a psychopath, I'll tell people that too. Like you got to have your head on straight. You can't be laughing at stuff like Sean Strickland, like just a crazy dude. But if you're somebody that's like, oh, dude, I just fucking threw that dog poop bag in the garbage can from here. I can't believe I made it. Putting it online. Yeah. Dude, I have had so many people tagging me and throwing their dog shit bags just like across the yard kind of thing. It's like, guys are, they're the same.
We're
dude.
very similar.
And the guys that are not like you ain't coming into a sub shop.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
True.
And that's one of the big reasons why like the podcast started was it's just Kevin and I in most cases just being goofy and just like hanging out and joking around and doing the stuff that Kevin and I do. Like we've been friends for fucking 12 years. Like this is our normal conversations. We're just recording it, you know?
And there's also, it shows that there's a lot more going on besides subs. We barely talked about it. It might be some backstory here and there, but it's like, subs are just a part of it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Just kind of a vehicle.
One of the things you guys, go ahead.
I don't know. And it shows that it's not about the money.
Oh yeah.
Like too many people like start a supplement brand or something. It's like, oh, I'm going to make this much. The amount of things that I've seen you guys do just in the short little bit of time I've been here, It's so cool. Like, it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's about enjoying your life. And I don't think, even though you guys got like matching leg tattoos right now, but it's like you're doing the personal stuff that you guys love.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part.
The joke was that it was always just like to make money so that we can make a headquarters for Kevin and I to just do stupid shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Our dream is a croquet course, indoor croquet.
Bro,
That is so unique.
I'm not turning into a reality here pretty soon, bro. I'm looking at some fields, dude. Get those horses out of here, man.
One of the things that you guys have kind of brought up a number of times, though, that I feel like I've noticed is just talking about your environment and talking about the people you surround yourself with. And like, that's such a big part of, I feel like, Triad for us too, is like making sure that we have not just the right people for us as a company, just for interacting with each other, but having it for the customers too. When you talk about like money not being like the number one priority, we've always been huge believers of like, if you just do everything right, like it'll come, right?
That's sales. Like, that's 1,000% sales.
And so, like when like Kevin's talking about going through customer service training and whatever, and dealing with people or dealing with our new employees as they're kind of going through things, like I was just saying it the other day, training Joey, it's like, I will never ask you, what did that person buy or how much money did they spend? They're here. Did they leave excited about Triad, and did they leave excited about you? And if you can answer yes to either, and especially both, I don't give a shit about anything else. Like, everything else will fall into place over time. Like, yeah, did they come in and buy like products that aren't the best? Sure. But it's not your job always to correct everyone's wrong. It's your job to be there and be helpful when people want help, and to be asking questions that lead to like different thought processes and talking. But like, at the end of the day, man, if you're just sitting there talking about football with this guy, that's just as good as anything. Like, you're being this guy's friend, and you're creating like that environment, like you're talking about at the gym, where it's like people just want to come and hang out. They're knocking on the door. And a big thing for us with that, and one of the things that you were mentioning earlier, was we don't track individual sales for employees at all. I don't even know how to do it in the system, to be honest. Like, I'm sure I could figure it out if I wanted to, but I've never looked at an individual employee sales, because it's not about that for us. It's about, did you make it a cool environment? And because we don't track sales, we don't have like average. There's no average transaction. Average total sale for us at all. We don't, and not to say it's a problem for anybody who does track those kind of things, but it is that like, your only job here is to just be as cool as you can and make friends. And if you can be as cool as you can and you can make friends, every other thing, whether it's helping them with their diet, whether it's helping them with their supplementation, whether it's, them buying better products that make more sense for them or whatever, all of those things will fall into place the faster and faster that you are able to just become this person's friend, because like, this person on a personal level then, and you're able to direct them and help them in ways that will actually like fall on listening ears. And I feel like, while that's not a trackable, tangible, number on a spreadsheet, it is like one of the most undervalued things in business in general, but especially in the supplement industry.
You've nailed it without saying it, but you built a brand. A brand isn't, hey, this is what we're coming out with. These are the best ingredients. This is what you're building, something that other people want to be a part of.
Right.
And I think that's sales now.
Yeah.
It's not so much, let me launch this. This is going to be the greatest product. Do you want to be a part of this team? Like, that is every brand. Yeah. And the brands that are going to succeed long-term have a unique following. Are you guys tickling each other? Yeah. You have to build a brand. Like, I say it all the time internally. I don't know how you guys feel about Ghost, but I feel Ghost right now is the Nike. And I always want Arms Race to be the Vans.
Sure.
I'm not saying I want that same exact vibe.
Yeah.
But I just like, you have those people that you attract. Yeah. I think, Arms Race and Julian alone has attracted, I don't want to say that age range, but just that vibe of just people.
Sure.
We're dads. We're just like-minded people. And when you attract like-minded people, the money comes, the sales come. It's people just want to be a part of it.
Right. The people that show up for like Arms Race nutrition events are very different. Yeah. Like, we'll get done with events, and like, there was one time at an LA Fit Expo that we left something, and we went out to, grab some, I think, Mexican burritos or something afterwards or something like that. Saw a bunch of people that were from the expo at that thing. We sat and had dinner with them.
Yeah, right.
Just like, because it's like, once you're done with that, it just kind of feels like, I mean, we're walking around smoking weed anyway. So if you want me to sit down and chill with you longer, let's hang out. And
Right.
I think Dave is right. And what he was talking about is like a great segment to like bring up the Doug relationship, because that's what Doug did. So Doug built something cool a long time ago, and he affected me when I was a kid. So I'm going to say it wrong, but I don't even think I put it up correctly in the Facebook post in 2011, but I think that they got my order wrong. But I was being really nice when I said it in there, but I just wrote Doug casually, and I wasn't mad or anything. I was just like, hey man, I think you forgot a couple things in there.
I think you were ordering shirts.
Yes.
I think the shirts. Yeah.
The shirts
from Doug?
Yeah.
From Core.
From Core? Wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
Core's been around for so long.
A lot longer than people realize.
20 years.
Bro, those OG Core labels
And you
too.
hear people talk about Core blowing up, and it's like, dude, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Bro, I probably am a reason why fucking that, what was it? Alpha Hard and Alpha and Hard, like those ones when when I was 21, that was like the natty steroids, man. They're like Doug. I mean, you're telling me this stuff is like tested and stuff. He's the top dog with that shit, man.
Yeah.
Comes up like all of his stuff is the best. It just truly is. But he got the order wrong. Core did. He personally sent a note with some extra stuff. The shirt, I think 2 shirts, 2 of the same shirt. Just, it was like an over the top thing. I took
Didn't
a picture.
Didn't you get like a protein RTD that never came out?
It was 4 protein RTDs that just had the powder in it. You just added water. And
Doug, you can do it again.
I love that. I'm that kind of guy. Add water, done, dude.
Yeah.
Just shipping basically tiny little powders around.
Yeah.
Or empty bottles. But when he did that, and then how many years went by until did we start 4 years with Arms Race right now?
Yeah, we'll be in 5 next
So
year.
I'm 37. Okay, so I mean, I was in my 30s.
I was
so
waiting for that scene from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I'm 37. Fuck.
But and over a decade goes by, I finally get an opportunity where because we were talking with the partners with Alani New. I was talking with being an actual sponsored athlete with Evogen. I had a lot of people that I was talking to when I left bodybuilding.com, and a lot of the people that I talked to only cared about making money. It was a very unique, weird thing, but they were like, it was almost like they were telling me shit that I wanted to hear when I was 18.
Yeah.
But I wasn't 18. I was like, I don't want to make $1 million now. I want to make $1 million every year for 20 years.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. And they weren't bad people. A lot of these people were amazing. But when I talked to Doug, he's like, dude, we're going to make money. That's just part of subs. He's like, but this stuff's going to be awesome. Just the way that he was talking. He was like, it's going to be a good brand that you're not going to, like, I told him, I was like, bro, I took a pro hormone. I got bad fucking results from a guy I liked, and he recommended that I take it. I go, I don't want to give these fucking kids something that's like sketchy or kind of good or just enough of the right shit, but just below 5 grams is absolutely nothing to you. It's like when you don't put the right, ethical doses in it, then it's just not really If you put 3 grams of creatine in something, that ain't doing it. You know what I mean? It needs to be the specific amounts. And I knew that when Doug said that was the most important thing. And and then he built that little vibe and community into his brand for 20 years plus. It's pretty cool.
That's a big thing for us when we started carrying Core right when we opened. Very random story on how that ended up coming to be. Thomas, do you want to tell it really quick?
Sure. I don't know who it was. I don't know I think we probably figured it out, but this was when I was working at S2, and I was the assistant manager at the South Store at S2, and Core rep called and was like, hey, we'd love to get into supplement superstores.
Was it Patrick at the time? Or
it wasn't Patrick.
It was Andrew Purdue. I'm pretty sure. And I'm paraphrasing for sure because this was fucking 10 years ago. But he was like, we'd love to get in there. I'd love to send you some samples. And I'm like, yeah, sure. My name's Thomas. Send me a box of samples. And I took the box of samples and I took it home. And I was like, I got free supplements for the weekend.
The things reps do not like.
For sure.
However, this led to one of the best relationships we have, or one of the biggest accounts that we have, because Thomas and I were roommates at the time, and I was about to leave to go to Oklahoma City to open up Triad, and we were struggling to find good brands to bring into the store. We were like, there's, a couple of good ones out there. And then we were struggling to get access to those, and there's exclusivities or whatever. Or, oh, you can't, only this place can have it. And it was like, gosh, we are not going to have nearly as many good brands as I thought. And then I come home to this random box of samples that Thomas found. And I'm like,
that I hustled.
That you hustled. You did hustle.
This fucking guy doesn't know.
And it was like, holy crap, these formulas are awesome. Like from the protein to the pre-workouts to everything that they sent. I was like,
you're welcome, Core. How much Core has been sold because of that?
That we would have not, I don't even know if we would have known about Core.
To be honest, no.
And I showed it to the other original partners, and they were hyped about it. So we reached out and we're like, yeah, we're opening up a store in Oklahoma City. We want to bring the brand in. And we brought in a case of every single flavor of everything they made right off the bat. And it's been a massive brand for us. And it's one of those brands that
ever since,
I know we're probably hyping up Core a lot, but we tend to, but every time they release something, it is a formula that everybody on staff is excited to see. Yeah. And when Arms Race came to kind of be part of the family that's got it going on right now, it was almost without question. It was like easy. Like those are going to be like Doug's involved, Patrick's involved. Those are going to be good formulas. Those are going to be good products.
Some guy named Julian.
Some jagoff named Julian.
But so I want to touch on this because I get a lot of questions. It's like, how's Arms Race any different than Core?
Sure.
That's my favorite question to answer.
I would love to hear this answer.
I feel everything Core comes out with is if Doug Miller going to take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's 100% what it is.
Yeah, sure.
And that's how it started, right?
Julian isn't Doug Miller. So Arms Race, you got to double take a couple.
Yeah, he's actually natural.
Just ended there, walk out the back.
Doug.
And Arms Race, I think it's more. What is Julian going to take? You know, he posts to a story every day, like what he actually takes every day. How many athletes jump brand to brand to brand? I take this now. I take this now. Mm-hmm. But they're really taking another brand. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, they are. Mm-hmm. They like something better, and they're just in it for the money. Right. But like Arms Race is tailor made for. Is Julian going to like it? Is Julian going to use it? So it's like it's a different vibe. It's a different formula. Yeah. It's not. We don't try to juice out everything. Like Core is premium. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Arms Race isn't. Arms Race is. Sure. But it's a different customer base. It's a completely different customer base. Like I have friends over at C4, but like I think Harness is like a C4 killer in a way. Sure. If you've been so used to C4 for so long, right? Well, what's comparable but a little bit more juice and a little bit more fun? Arms Race. Harness, I take every single day. Like it is a daily driver. It is so good. And then Evolution when you need a good leg day.
Yeah, right.
When you want to punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah. I just want to get angry and then get a pump still. But that to me is the biggest difference. People really need to look at it as like, there's this overarching, Doug Miller brands, right? But Arms Race is the only thing that Doug is partnered with somebody else to where it's not made for Doug. Doug takes it still. Yeah. It's made for
Doug. Has been an incredible business partner on this because he'll straight up be like, what kind of bar do you like? And he'll, and I feel bad too. Cause I know how much work goes into all this. I know how much these guys do at HQ but they protect my brand over their easiness, if that makes sense. Sure. Like these guys like Reineke, man, like he'll present us with some fucking bar and I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, dude, I told you guys 3 times I want a cereal based bar. Cereal. I want that kind of, I don't want a protein bar. I don't want it to even be close to a protein bar. I want people to bite into this and go, that's more like a crispy treat. Yeah, right. Or something like that. And these guys do that kind of stuff. And that's where it's like that. You don't see that crossover on Doug's side. You know what I mean? And I am one of those guys where I'm like, bro, I might be eating clean, but goddamn, I like to eat on off plan. Well, sure. I'm off, dude. I'm not
that waffle cone,
bro.
That waffle cone foundation,
bro.
Woo, dude, when we poured it, when we shook it up, and we'd like, what's that sound? We'd like, there's no blender ball. What's that sound? And it's like, it's fucking waffle cone pieces.
Oh shit!
And we were like, all right,
time to go home and get the missus ready. We got the waffle cone.
But you touched on it, and you just touched on it perfectly. We went down the rabbit hole of the foundation bar could have been outright bar 6.0.
Yeah,
it really could have. We went down that rabbit hole. It was a nut butter based bar.
Yeah,
but the brand
I felt bad, dude.
Yeah. And you went along with it for a little bit.
Because you guys were so stoked.
Yeah,
And
it was
did taste
delicious.
good.
It was wonderful.
But it was the texture that I've had for 20 years.
Yeah, sure.
And Julian, and this is just like the way I view it and why it makes it so authentic. Julian's pre-workout is cereal and he pours over protein.
Yeah.
That is his pre-workout.
Yeah.
How do you authentically put that vibe into a snack?
Right.
It has to be authentic to what Julian's doing.
How many people are doing cereal for their pre-workout because of you?
Yeah. Dude, it's actually interesting. I hate when people say like, oh, I'm the first one to do this, because it's like, well, who
gives a shit?
You know what I mean?
It's not about the
I
first,
remember
it's about the
somebody
best.
showing me to put water in my protein shake and pouring it over my cereal.
Yeah, right.
But there's been so many people that I've seen do it.
Oh,
You know, after we've talked about it, it's kind of just one of those things that opens up your mind where you're like, God damn it, why didn't I do this for the past 20 years?
For sure.
Kidding me? Like, I remember before I did that, I'd put, like, if I was watching my calories, stay with me, I'd put water in my cereal. That's poverty stuff, man. It's just kind of like, get your shit together, guy. But just you hear it one time and you're like, why was you know what? That sounds like watery. That sounds watery. But just little introductions like that, and before you know it, people start doing it, and then it just kind of becomes part of it, and then it turns into the foundation bar.
Right.
And that's an interesting way to put it, where it's like it's straight up a play off of something that I've always done. What was the most recent thing? We could probably sneak a couple things in on this. Weren't we talking about something else that we were trying to do that was like kind of tied into my?
Yeah, what are we not supposed to know about?
Oh, let's. I'll leak shit. I don't care.
Hey.
Replenish is already all over their parking lot, so we're good.
We're gonna rebrand Arms Race.
Yeah.
You guys will see it with the RTDs coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna have a different vibe.
Okay.
Because, and again, this is just my viewpoint of where I sit. You know, I think Julian has, no pun intended, evolved over the years, and the vibe changes. So we've done such a good job of building, I would say, our brand. But, you know, like there's little background pieces in the RTD. It's Julian's gym.
Right.
Like there's little designs there that there's little Easter eggs to like what Julian would have done. And I'm so happy about
it's really
the
one
RTDs.
of a kind. Like the labels that we have on the back of these, like when you guys see them, since you guys know what is there, and it's kind of like I think of it as like a really detailed tattoo. Like from far away with you guys, you'd see your legs or your arm and you'd be like, tattoo.
Yeah.
But you get close, you're like, damn, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there's a lot in that fucking picture. And that's how this is. It's one of those things where from far away, eye-catching, holy crap, like let's go look at it. And then you get close, you're like, that's his gym.
Yeah.
That's the Smith machine. That's the fucking murals. That's whatever. You could just kind of
That's
tell
cool.
without really seeing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because it's something that, you know, we in our own way have kind of followed too, where when it comes to Preston or who does our formulations, the majority of our formulation stuff for Define or whatever the product is it's like, make something we're fucking excited about, right? Like make something that we're jazzed up about. Like a perfect example for that of like probably the most us product we make, but at least from my own standpoint, is Define Energy, right? Because like we drink pre-workouts on shift all the time, and we drink, you know, energy drinks on shift all the time, and we were just kind of like looking around, and it was like, man, I feel like I'm always doing one or the other. Kevin used to drink just like not OG, but second level Define like lemon drop every single day
With the beta alanine.
right? But it was like one of those things where it was like we all personally were looking for that daily driver, right? And it was one of those things where we all started throwing out, we do it as a team still, where it's like we're throwing out flavor suggestions and we're all tasting all the samples together. And it's like, let's find what our staff is fucking jacked about, because when that happens, that's what translates in the store for us, right? Because like for you, man, if you're not excited about, again, no offense to them, but like Outright Bar 6.0, like, well, dude, then it's not authentic at the end of the day. Like for us, it was like we've been super fucking excited about every product we've released over the last year, because we've taken the time to have it be authentic of our staff, of like these, like, sure, there might be a flavor or whatever, but like at the end of the day, like we're all like, this fucking rocks. I'm so stoked about this.
It's almost one of those things where I was chatting with somebody earlier at the booth, and I was like, honestly, the way, if you like, this is a simple way to look at it. I make something that I know that if nobody buys it, at least I have waffle cone protein now.
Yeah, right. At least
Me
we got
personally,
I
I have waffle cone. It's like, hey, you guys don't like my shorts? I now have shorts to wear.
Yeah.
I designed this stuff for me to wear, not for you to wear. So I'm designing my own clothes that I would wear. And if you guys don't buy it, I'm going to wear wearing my clothes.
But how do you be passionate about it without that, right? Like if you don't have that, like this is for me. I can't be passionate.
That's where I
have
feel
to
like
be relatable.
for
Right.
real.
It has to
And
be
I
relatable.
can see people, I bet you see it all the time, people in this industry where you're like, man, they left that company. They left this. Is like, man, when you don't have your freedom to express who you are, you know, that's what I call, cause I don't have any tattoos, but I say that's what I'm doing at my gym. Like I'm afraid to get something permanent on my body. So I'll just tattoo my gym.
Yeah, right.
But like that never ending, like need, like I do that stuff for a reason. Like, that feels like a need that I need to do. Like I put the murals up. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to start doing the walls now. It like fulfills something. You know what I mean? And all those things add to your brand in every fucking way. I think it's a really fucking cool thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's an extremely hard thing that I think that people don't realize to do as well is when you get samples from something to tell them, I don't like this at all. And we're going to probably have to go through several more iterations is how much buildup there is to that first sample, the formulating itself, the working with the manufacturer to tell them exactly what you want. It takes forever for them to put it together and ship it to you. And if we've even had where we've tried to do too many iterations of a flavor or a formula of product, and we've had manufacturers ghost us, they've just completely stopped responding to us because we were asking for too much. And it's like, we want to push, to be able to create the product that we want.
That's shitty business.
A little bit. I won't name names, but at the same time, it's like, it makes it such, I know at least for us, I guess, I don't know if for you guys or not, but to tell someone, I don't like this at all, we need to completely change it is so much tougher of a thing than I think people realize.
Oh, not for Julian. But nope, don't leave it. Shit.
Good for
But
you.
it's because people like him, because I understand that like what he says, like the overwhelming most important thing that we need to do is, and of course we want to get Arms Race to a point where it's not centered around only what I like, right? Mm-hmm. But if most of the eyes are on me or Sam, like those types of people, the bigger names on the brand who push it the most or have since the beginning, they're really going to go after what you do. You know what I mean? What you're already doing. So when you're already putting it out there, it's easy to just kind of do what Sam's doing.
Yeah.
Easy to just kind of do what Julian's doing or something like that.
Dude, I really liked the analogy or the cross reference to associating with brands that are outside of your industry. The ghost is to Nike is to Arms Races to Vans, because those are, when you think of Nike people and Vans people, those are kind of different demographics. There's some
100%.
overlap.
I don't own anything Nike.
Yeah.
And
Same.
I think Nike's cool.
Yeah.
I just it doesn't rock with what I do.
I love when Vans does the new shoes that kind of look like the Nike shoes.
Yeah.
I bought a pair. They're great. I like
Look
the
at me
look.
go.
I just didn't want Nike.
Have you bought the Vans that look like Nikes?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Did you say Nikes that look like Vans?
I might have said that.
Okay.
I'm a cigar, I'm a hit, and I'm a drink. I'm probably going to mess up some words. That's
You
fine.
might have said it correctly and I might have heard it
Yeah.
wrong.
No, I think
So-
You
said
guys
it
look over
correctly.
and I'm just sleeping. oh, fuck. What are we
But
doing?
yeah, I mean, like, you can't ever knock like Vans does some cool things.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll respect other people in the industry. Ghost does some great things.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
But there's a lot of things Ghost does that I don't think we would do.
Yeah.
And it's not about, again, chasing the money. It's not us.
Well, and I think that's a perspective too that can come from people who also associate with having a retail location, right? Where like you have to have an appreciation for other brands.
Yeah.
Like if we're trying to sit here and be the only brand in our store, we're going to fail,
Yeah.
right? Like we have to have an appreciation for what other brands are doing. We have employees that are just as excited about, we talk about like a core product or a first form product, whatever that they are about a defined product. And that's great because we want that excitement across the brands that we offer. When we like Will and I the other day trying the new like waffle cone, it's like, dude, we were jazzed.
Yeah.
Like when that came in, we were like, oh shit, this looks, but that's the point is like, I feel like there is a level to having maybe the experience. I don't know if the experience is the right word, but having the perspective of like, I have to have an appreciation for, because I guess if you were to boil it down, I've never looked at it this way, but it's like at the end of the day, Define versus anybody else would be a competitor. But it's like, we don't think about it that way because I have to have an appreciation for those companies and I have to have an appreciation for what they're doing. And so I think, and I know you have like with nutrition corners and stuff too. It's like you have a bit of, and going into all the GNCs and all this stuff, it's like you have a perspective of like, man, I have to appreciate more than just what I'm pumping out today.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be idiotic to not pay attention. Like, I know where like I personally want Arms Race to go.
Yeah.
But it's just like to not pay attention is just silly, and to not be fans of the business.
Yeah.
Like
right.
I try to treat everything, even like I'm a part of with Arms Race. It's like how would I shop? Like I want things that get me excited. Like if I'm such a weird shopper to where like if I go to Vans, I'll look around and unless it catches my eye, I don't buy anything. Like I've never shopped to shop.
Yeah.
I've shopped. Ooh, that catches my eye.
You should talk to my
want
fiance.
that?
She can teach you how to do that.
But like I'll never, like the last time I was in Vans, there's these pair of they were like olive green pants. And I'm just like, oh, that's sick. Oh, they have the matching beanie there. I left. And if it was still in my head, I went back the next day.
Yeah, right.
Like that is how I am. And I want like the products we come out with and even like the clothing accessories come out with. It's like, ooh, I'm waiting for that. Like we got, what did we announce? The hooded jackets coming out.
The hooded flannels.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for those.
Yeah.
Like these are going to look sick in the fall. Like
Yeah.
it's getting excited about the things that, you personally like.
Yeah.
And I think there's other like-minded people that are just like, oh, that's what I want too.
And maybe that's like a good point to like touch on in regards to like brands in general. I know we're all over the place right now, but it just made me think like,
No, this is
I
great.
think a lot of people think like, what's the biggest fucking net that I can cast? Oh, dude, the little broccoli hairs. That you know what I mean? Or whatever they call those. Hey, man, I got the broccoli too sometimes, but what's the large?
Not as curly.
What's the largest community, right?
Right.
But I think you don't understand how big the smallest community is.
Yes.
Yeah, like the little, gothic kids with the eyeliner that are punks, that's a fuckload of people just because they're not the jock. That's a lot of people, man. That's $1 million business off a couple. So I think when people can really, that's why I think social media is so fun because it's just like, just be yourself. Truly be yourself because some kid will come up to me and be like, and he might not even have really anything worth that I would want to like actually watch or do anything, but I know there's probably 100,000 people out there that would.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't watch, like there's Instagrams of just dogs. And it's like 2 million and it's a golden and it's like, and case of follow and I'm just like, that's fucking crazy. That's not my niche, but it's like those people are killing it. So there's just so much space out there for everybody. And I think that you have the ghost niche, you have a Alani Nu niche, you have an arms race nutrition niche. I think you have something like the optimum nutrition niche, but that, some of these brands that have been around for so long, they're just kind of like almost a household name where it's like, that's a good fallback. If I don't have anything, I'll grab some Gold Standard Whey or whatever. But, nowadays it's like you almost have brands associated with so many people representing something. Alani Nu has a vibe.
Yeah.
All the guys that they post have a vibe of the girls. You know what I mean? Like I'm not seeing Sylvester Stallone on that page. I'm seeing
what if you did
the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. Well, didn't they post Malcolm in the Middle kid?
Oh yeah.
And it was like it just reminds me of like, I thought when that happened, I'd be like, oh, what if The Rock was on like Arms Race? Like who would be like if Kim Kardashian was posted to Arms Race Nutrition, people be like, what the fuck? It's rad. Holy shit, that's a big name. But it's like, what would something...
Doesn't compute.
It doesn't. You're just like, okay, you just probably spent money on X to get this person to represent
I bet
yourself.
people would see through that.
They would.
Yeah.
They would. Exactly. That's what I was getting at. And, the kind of people that like, knowing that you're doing the right thing to make more money down the line. It's kind of like some of the, not that you need to be making money, but it just grows the overall awareness of the brand. Yeah. Like the guy who came in today and was like, he had, man, I'm spacing already. I think he said that he had mouth cancer.
Oh yeah.
Were you there for that? He beat mouth cancer. He's had an issue talking, but he was like the pecan pie. I've never heard anyone say this, but he was like
Ron Lawton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know why. He's like, but that protein is the only thing I can taste. He's like, I've tried other of your protein and other proteins. And he's like, and they're all, it kind of reminded me of when people would describe having COVID and tasting stuff. They're like, peanut butter tasted weird.
Yeah.
Cheese was off.
Yeah.
Like this guy was like, everything doesn't taste the way that it should. And he was like, that tastes awesome. And he what was it? I think he didn't have money or something. It was some weird thing. And I was like, oh, this one's on me. And I just went and bought that from your store and gave it to him. But
I saw you doing that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And the one
welcome to Events with Julian.
Yeah. That's I get him in trouble. I'm like, fucking free.
They're like, man, David's crushing sales.
Yeah.
It's Julian.
But it's that's the kind of shit like that I wish someone did for me.
Yeah.
When I was younger, like, dude, what if I don't have the fucking money? Like I still want to be part of this, or see somebody in a situation that's trying to make fitness work. Like, dude, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, that guy was at an age to where I know mentally you're not sitting there going, oh, he's going to be back the next month and the next month. And
Yeah.
you were just like, oh, dude, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
What's $50 out of my pocket to make you
100%.
Right.
Which
That
he probably will come back and get it again, but it's just I know that never.
Well, I
crosses
told
your
him, I'm
mind.
like, I'm checking in, bro. I told him, I go, I'm checking in, man.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
your
that's
shoulders.
right.
Dude, no, we're on it now.
Ron and his son Chris are the biggest arms race and core nutritionals and Americolab supporters there is.
Yeah.
That $50 will go so
Bro,
far.
when people mention the Daily Pump, that's one thing. But when people mention the quadguy.com, that was the original site from 2016 that we had the pump put on after like a couple months. We're like, maybe I'll offer my workout. Maybe they'll like it. And that's what it turned into.
Yeah.
And he's been on since then. I think he said that he wasn't on recently because of health issues.
Sure.
But just having, like, bro, you supported me. Probably had enough $6 months that you can get a free protein from me kind of a thing. And that's kind of like, that's the Doug Miller thing.
Yeah.
I did a Doug Miller for that guy.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't need it. Doug did that. He probably wasn't thinking, man, I hope I get a business with this kid one day when he's not a stupid teen and has a following or whatever. I had nothing, you know?
Well, it's like, it's kind of a funny thing because it's almost a take back to what Kevin was talking about earlier with the 5-star reviews of it's like, you know, it's not necessarily your goal. You're just like treating people right. And it's like, it just goes to show like at the end of the day, you have to treat enough people right for it to eventually like show its head. And it's like, it's just showing like being a good person, you know? And sometimes, you know, that'll happen in like the store where it's like super funny situations like that where, you know, you guys are talking about like demographics and it's like, we have, I think, a super unique demographic when it comes to a supplement store. One of the ones is like, we do really well with like Fit Camps, Orange Theories, F45, Fit Camp 180 is literally next door to us. Right. And we have a really good relationship with those kind of gyms. And I think because we have like a non-sales based, non-intimidating, we become a lot easier place for, you know, somebody who's maybe not comfortable in the supplement realm.
A supplement store can be very intimidating for someone that's just getting into it, trying to lose weight.
1000%. And like, you know,
It goes a lot with who's behind that front desk. Behind who's the front desk, you know?
Right.
You got some big IFBB pro bodybuilder who's the nicest
Scary.
fucking dude
Yeah.
ever. It's still going to be intimidating for someone who's trying to put on muscle.
And so that's the thing is it's like, you know, these men and women. And a lot of times I feel like in that it can be intimidating, especially for like the female demographic, which like I get, like there's places on the opposite side. I would be like, I don't really know what I'm doing when I come in here. But when they come in and, you know, kind of a similar situation to kind of like what you were talking about is when you said, you know, I would want somebody to do this for me. It's like, you know, the lady comes in and she grabs, you know, this creatine that's, you know, $23 for 30 servings. Well, the one next to it's $23 for 50 servings. And they're both 5 grams of creatine monohydrate and they both mix up just as well. Hey, just so you know, that one, 2 next to it is 50 servings for, you know, $1 less. Yeah. And she's like, oh, thank you. Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, I would want somebody to tell me that like I could save $1 and get 20 more servings. Like, why would you know? And that's the thing is it's like, just like you said with like the Ron situation or whatever, it's like, if you're just putting that like genuine, like this is, if it was my grandma or if it was me or whatever, if I was in a situation where maybe like I wasn't as educated or as comfortable as I wanted to be, where it's like, but you know what? You didn't take advantage of me. You took care of me. Yeah. Is like, I feel what can go so far in new demographics, but also just like of having things when they do end up coming back to you is because it's just like, just be genuine.
Yeah. And it goes, I think it just goes, especially in this industry where I don't think people are very genuine, not to like social media in general, but dude, fitness online is one of those. I mean, so many people are tweaking photos to look bigger. So many people are just portraying something else. It's such a world of insecurities and we've all been there. So paying attention to that kind of stuff and you know, what's the saying? The gentleman is a person who can like make everybody in the room feel as comfortable as possible at all times. I've heard, I don't know if that's truly what it is. I've heard people say that. My dad used to say that too. But it's like that the person that's like the biggest dude, walk into a room full of small people and stop acting big.
Right.
Act like everyone there.
Yeah.
And let you take your hoodie off and then go, whoa, my God, I didn't even know you were fucking buff. You're sitting here talking about The Legend of Zelda. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm not here. I'm not talking about my muscle, man. That's for 2 hours a day,
Ocarina of Time right now, brother. We're going.
Yeah, let me sing my song, man. I'm out of here. But I think that goes a long way because so many people probably are like, bro, I really want to get into fitness, but 95% of my life is video games.
Sure.
Or my family or this. So if all you bring to the table, we've talked about this a few times and I won't bring them up because some of these, 2 of the people have passed away in the industry, but you know, being in this from like 7 years ago and meeting a lot of the IFBB pros, man, you go over there and talk to some of these guys and you're like, there's not, and not to be rude, because people have probably met me and be like, okay, that dude's not the brightest bulb. But with these guys, I'm like, man, they don't want to talk about anything besides bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nothing's worse than meeting somebody you might look up to and you talk about the same shit you've always talked about. It's like, I know how much protein I should be taking. 230 grams, 1 gram per body. You know what I mean? Like, like, are we still talking about the same old shit? Like, I want to know what you do for fun.
Right.
Like, what do you eat off this? Oh, you eat chicken 365 days a year and never come off for 5 years. Okay, we're not the same person.
Yeah.
We're barely relatable, dude. You know what I mean? So putting that stuff out there gets you so much closer to your audience.
Listen to you talk.
Oh man, I'm melting.
I need to watch that podcast that you did with Doug. Was it with Patrick too?
Which one?
You did? Did you do a boss status?
I've done one.
It was us. Patrick was on it. Sweeney's,
where we're outside in the parking lot.
Yes. Is it that one? Or is it the original?
But
there was an original one where it was you, Doug, and Patrick.
And I've done one with you.
Yeah.
You did one with Doug though, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think you've done 2.
Yeah. Well, I get confused at which ones are the boss status and which ones are just podcasts. Because I've done fucking 5 podcasts with you guys, but it's like, I know the boss status covers very specific stuff. Why did I do something stupid?
No. Listen,
I watched that one. I wasn't me.
State of the Union.
State of the Union.
That's the other one we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So listening to you talk, I was like, I really understand why you got along with Doug really well. Like, I can just imagine a conversation with you and Doug. That's probably a tangent, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense of why you guys mesh so well and why the companies mesh so well. So,
well, Doug's also a unique guy, man. We'll go out to a fast food restaurant, McDonald's, and that's not true. Doug will never go to McDonald's, but we'll go to like Chick-fil-A or something or Sherry's or like a restaurant, and he'll ask to say prayer. You know, that's unique to me.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's like, dude, I'll fucking do whatever you want, Doug.
Yeah.
You're my friend. Like, why would I think people are too quick to be in like, well, that's not how I do it. Well, we're not at your fucking house, bro.
Yeah.
We're out with them.
Yeah.
So can we just stop acting like that and just like, dude, cater to your homie for a second kind of a thing. And that's what I really like. Like Doug and I get along well. I get along great with David. I get along great with everybody, but everyone's very different. Like Patrick, you know, there's sometimes I mouth off and I'm like, God, I hope I didn't offend him. I'm like, man, I'm saying some sketchy shit right now because he's such a good dude. You know what I mean? He's just such a clean cut guy. I know, besides the mullet, but he's very.
He literally pulled his pants down right before this podcast started.
I say that I'm like, well, fuck, should be worrying too much about Patrick. It's more fucking Doug. But I think that's what's even more fun. It's like that's why I came out with that phrase, fitness misfit, because I feel like that's a big part of who I am. It's like I'm into fitness, but I'm into it as much as I can be to be big and jacked and do fitness shit. But I really am against a lot of the people that are in this. Not against them.
I thought about, I don't know.
No,
finish what you were saying.
I was just going to say, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not that I don't see eye to eye with them. We're just not on the same page.
There's more to you than that.
Yeah.
And I think that is where like, I think you're coming from too, is like, you talk to these people where it's like, man, I just eat, sleep, and drink this, and that is it. Yeah. And it's like, I don't have an ounce of depth in other things. Yeah. And it's like, and I get it. People get super passionate about stuff, but I'm kind of like, man, I want to talk about like, we talk about sports or like, I mean, like whatever it is, you know, like whatever you're into. It's like, we were having that conversation the other day in the store where it's like, when people come in, like you can't work at Triad if you don't just think everything's cool. Like if somebody came in and was like, man, what are you doing this weekend? And they're like, man, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be like, you know what, motherfucker? I've never done that, but that shit looks dope. Like that
you're like, you fucking dork. Can I come?
Yeah, for real.
That sounds fun. I need to be there.
One of those because that thing sounds fun.
You have a cloak I can wear.
Yeah.
Has anybody done?
Can I bring my Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
What?
Has anybody played D&D?
I've never have.
I have.
I did when I was younger.
When I was in
I never have
school.
either.
Yeah.
I would. I'm with you. I would
think
love
it would
to
be fucking fun,
dude.
I'll be your dungeon master.
Oh,
I think
that sounds nice.
I think that's a different game.
That sounds
It's me,
absolutely
Shaboom
lovely.
Meadowbrook. I'm your dungeon master.
That's right. Meadowbrook, he's here.
No, but I thought about this earlier. I forget what you said that prompted it in my mind, but it really touches on the fact that, you know, Doug's different than us. And I don't want to say different, just, you know, Doug's his own person, Patrick's his own person, Julian's his own person, I'm my own person. When I first started and I started traveling, and I've always thought about this my entire life, I've always felt like a misfit. And it's like, where do I find my people? Right? Like, where do I find my people where I fit in? And I started traveling the country. And I had this idea in my head. I'm like, well, where do I fit in? Like, am I going to meet, like, am I just going to go to California one day and go to San Diego? And it's like, oh, these people are like me. And it took me a year of thinking that, like, oh, I just want to know like where my people are. And I found them, and it's us. Like, it is the difference. It's Doug, it's Patrick, it's Julian, the Sweeneys. Everybody's their own unique version, but they're my people. They're the people I can vibe with. They're the people I can, work with and just like kick ideas. Why would you have like 10 like-minded people? That's so stupid. Like I need all the ideas.
It turns into yes men.
Yeah.
Because before you know it, it's like no one's willing. Like that's what I love about like my wife, Casey. She's put me
definitely not a yes man.
Yeah. She's turned down so many ideas from me. Yeah.
I think is your wife a yes man?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay. So in her bio of her Instagram, she says the official emergency brake for Julian. So it's like I've come up with a lot of ideas and she'll turn down probably 95% of them. But you need that kind of stuff.
She's great. That like, that's, I love if me and her get on the phone, like we'll just have a good conversation, but it's just like, her and I think very similar, and I don't think she understands it sometimes. Yeah. But I love, like, we'll be on meetings and I'll say something and I'll watch her eyes. I always watch her eyes when I say stuff because she'll be like, that's a good idea. Yeah. And then it's like, but what she does is she will twist it just enough to just take it a little bit further. Yeah. And it's like, that's my favorite aspect of her. So yeah, she's definitely like the emergency brakes.
She has,
but she's open.
Like she worked in a passport travel agency doing accounting, kind of doing a little bit of everything in her job position, but working with people and kind of minimizing risk, minimizing issues. And I think she applies that to me. But what's fun is she'll come over to like Arms Race or Clifford or The Pump. And, we bring ourselves to businesses, right? Like we're with Playbook. Clifford Lennox, we have fulfillment up in Tacoma, Washington. We have fulfillment for Arms Race Nutrition over on the East Coast. But, Case has experienced such a unique side. Her and her friend Amanda, they both work. Like Amanda's kind of my manager. She's the athlete manager with Arms Race as well. But they come into businesses and they actually change things for the better. Like they don't just sit there and say, we should order this many shirts. It's like they're smart enough to like figure out why a program doesn't work. Yeah. And they're like, we're going to look something up. This is weird. And I'm like, I can't even fucking, dude, I'd be the dude. If it didn't work, I'd be like, what's it called? Malware. We got to figure this shit out. We got a virus. I don't know. But it's like, they do the kind of stuff where I'm like, man, you guys are so valuable because when you're in the company, it's like, you don't just sit there. You make it so it can be doing its thing longer, not just grabbing your paycheck and letting the fires burn. Like you're putting them out and you're going above and beyond. And I think that's kind of everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I have my strengths and I don't step over the line. I don't talk back to Doug with certain stuff. You know why? Because I know he's got the best interest. Yeah. That's why Doug will sit there and be like, whatever Julian wants for a flavor. Yep. And when I bring it up, he's like, well, if you like it, we're doing it. Yeah. We're going to make it work. It's like, there's certain times where we all like to maybe like the opinion of what a color shirt should be. Then we're all like, bro, I want red. And he'll be like, oh, yellow would be sick or whatever it might be. But when it comes to like the overall good, we're all like, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to step back from this one. Yeah. I don't formulate this shit. Like,
I'm not an expert in this.
I just don't want to itch. I don't want my face to itch. I'm backing up, dude. Just don't let me itch, Doug.
Well, but it's funny because, the thing that you brought up there is like being around a bunch of like, you can be around like-minded people that are all different, and one of the aspects that we have that I think Kevin and I, especially over the years, have done really well is that we can vehemently disagree and still come to a good compromise, like still come to a solution. Right. And it's like, if you can't disagree about something and like come to a conclusion in the end, that's benefit because, and exactly what you were saying was because we know that both of us just have the best intentions. We're both just trying to push the company or whatever the decision is in the right direction. And it's like, if you have that perspective of each other, then it's like, okay, well, man, I will hear you out and we can actually talk about this and come to a conclusion that makes sense. Because I know you just want the best too.
Even then coming to a compromise is a lot of work. It can be a very difficult thing.
Oh yeah. No, we deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. You think every idea I give to Case, I'm ready to let it go? I'm like, this is a killer. And she's like, are you fucking stupid? She's like, what are you fucking
I get ideas, doesn't even get responded to.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of a sudden, his messages just go green. We're like, oh, he's blocked right now. We're not talking to him right now.
David Dodrill has left the AR
Chat for the remainder of the day.
No, when I bring up you being like, I understand how you guys just vibe together, but you are totally different people. Like you guys even come from totally different areas. Like did you grow up in Portland?
Yeah, born and raised.
Really?
Born and raised in Hillsboro, Oregon.
And Doug is on the complete opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how you guys connect. You see how you all vibe together. Like where did you grow up on the East Coast as well? Or
Yeah, I grew up in like West Virginia, closer to Pittsburgh.
yeah.
And then I moved to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. So like totally different and like all from different areas of different industries, had different jobs prior. Like you mentioned yesterday that
I
you
was
were
in law.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in law for 3
That's
years.
crazy,
Yeah.
man.
Could you imagine that fucking dude in law?
Yeah. So
Oh, man,
fun
breaking
story.
my law.
I'm trying.
Fun story. My boss at the time, he told me his partner would never like agree with me working there with hand tattoos. Day I left, I made appointments to get hand tattoos. I wasn't. It wasn't for me. I love it and I miss it and I miss a lot of that work. It's just fun. It's you kind of learn, and I think it's helped me current day. There's right and wrong, but there's also just like, what do you get in a face value? And I love that. And I think it's definitely helped me talking with people because it's like, I always see things from both sides and that's what it really teaches you. Like I can understand Julian's viewpoint on something. And if Doug doesn't agree, I understand Doug's viewpoint on something. How do we get to this middle ground of what actually needs to be done and what really works? But yeah, I mean, like my background was definitely, I thought like I would do law forever.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what was the tipping point that made you leave?
It's graphic.
No hand tattoos?
No,
That was what did it.
It was, you don't get to really pick clients sometimes. I did criminal and bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is my favorite. Criminal, when a court appoints a client and you're just kind of representing garbage and you're still arguing for that garbage.
Yeah.
I always thought about that. You get these people that like they have to have a defense attorney even when you're in the wrong. But it's like, I wonder if that dude's sitting there like you, would you just be like, he fucking did it?
Yeah.
No, he did it. Like, you don't want me here.
The court wouldn't, like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're arguing for them. So it's like the last case. I mean, I'll just be open and honest.
You're
about
like,
this.
he's okay, I guess.
No, it was a dad. We'll say a dad, but like let's say a 50-year-old man, and then his father was 70, and they were luring boys into their house.
Oh my God.
That was a client.
Yeah.
Sorry if this gets flagged. I wasn't for it.
Yeah.
That was I was done.
Yeah.
Like it was just
That's tough.
You can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. When you're
it
like, I
screws
have
me
to
up.
be on this guy's side.
Yeah, it screws you up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I got out of that. I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to weigh over 400 pounds.
Really?
And during that time, I was competing. So my love has always been fitness, and like that's what I noticed I like the most.
Sure.
Like when I was working the 9 to 5, and I can fit in my meals, and it was actually I think Rob and Dana Bailey helped me out, connecting me with like I think it was called Man Cakes at some point. I had my own billboard in Times Square, New York.
Did you really?
I did.
Damn.
For a week. It was great.
Hell yeah.
It was
Top
over
of
at
the
Cold Stone. I was shirtless over.
That's crazy. I'm a subscriber to Man Cakes, and I don't think I saw you on there. I'm just kidding.
I promise I have it. I signed it for my
Cakes
mom.
Weekly.
I signed it for my mom for Mother's Day one
That's
time.
awesome.
I just put #1 son and I blew it up into a poster.
I need that for my mom. This is David.
Give it for Sid.
Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah, it's like then it kind of connected. I started a little meal prep company. Then I sold that. I didn't really have to work, and then I had a friend that was working at GNC. And then he's like, "Hey, do you just want to work here for like the winter? Like people know you, you're local." And then I started working for GNC, and I got promoted every 6 months. Like I really clicked, and I always said I hate retail. I will never take myself down to that level. It's the one thing I'm really good at.
Dude, that was I got in retail not even realizing it actually. We started again at Supplement Superstores, and I looked at it because they've got a pretty solid business model. That's where we pull a lot of our basis from. And when I started working there, I was stoked for it because I was getting to work with Thomas. Thomas did a lot of my training, Chad, Vincent, the couple of original partners. And it was like, when I go in, they just genuinely help me. Like, you're just a supplement helper, right? Yeah. I'd love to do that. And then I was working there for 3-4 months, and someone was like, "Man, you're a really good salesman." And I'm like, "Wait, what am I?" I guess I am a salesman. And it was just kind of funny that realization of like, nah, like we really should just be helping people. So not to get back on that topic, but
no, but I love that it keeps going back there because that's kind of the key to how all this works, right? We're in a weird world where people are kind of shitty. And the trick to just good business and good relationships is being nice to people. Shocker.
Right.
Like, but it sucks that that's rare.
Yeah, right though.
But you know,
it's
that
good
is
for people like us.
It's 1000% good.
Makes
for
it
people like
easy.
us.
Yeah.
Everyone was
the
nice.
bar's not high.
you only got to be kind of nice, you know?
I pushed some little kid over and his parents were stoked.
but I
this is
smiled, so it was fine.
They were like, thanks. I'm like, okay.
You just didn't punch him, you know?
Yeah, get out of my face. Just kidding. No, it's I like that we keep bringing that up. I think it's really important. I hope people take that away in some way, that it's, you know, it's kind of like you said, where it's like, I think that I eventually, you know, I used to joke with Case that like my dream job will be working in the front desk of a gym one day. I just want to be like a small gym where it's like, I know everybody.
Yeah.
What do you work? Like, call it out. More weight, pussy.
Yeah.
From the back. Dude, come on, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? Like, don't put people through
I
this
just
shit. You're a
imagine you
regular.
like over a loudspeaker,
Bro,
like watching
like,
the cameras.
that's so funny.
Come on, Chris,
Just-
you're a pussy.
Yeah.
Please squat this.
Yeah, pansy ass. But I think that goes kind
You
of
did
like
265 last week. What are you doing?
But it's kind of like you said, where it's like you don't realize you're in retail. Like when I go to the expos and stuff like that, I really like chatting with people. I like hearing their problems. I like hearing their problems because I've had problems. I like hearing people's problems when their problems are similar to mine, where I could start, you know, helping younger people or help people that are in a similar situation, or just give help in whatever way. But, you know, sales is, you know, it's fun. It's fun when you don't try to sell.
Thank you.
When you
Is
do
that
it
what it
right,
is? Yeah,
it's
that's-
a totally different
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me put it this way. Sales is fun when you don't need to worry about money at all.
Yes.
And it's already happening. Just kidding.
Well,
But
shit,
if
I
you're
don't got
good
that
at
in my
sales-
life yet.
Yeah. But sales, I mean, look at how many people know you from the van.
Yeah.
Dude, if you were an asshole at every one of these things, or let's not even say asshole, because if you were an asshole, you probably wouldn't even be in this business, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the lowest level, you're doing the minimum.
Yeah.
You're going to these places, you're turning some bottles around. Hey, you guys having fun? Yeah. Okay, bye. And then you're getting out and moving on to the next. That's what the standard is.
Yeah.
And just to go in there and be like, hey, bro, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing you ask. And what's up, man? Like, how's it been? And then they'll maybe feed you some shit you didn't want to hear. Fuck, this stuff's just not selling. Well, why? Tell me about it, man. Like, hey, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm making this shit in my bathtub.
I do it all the
I
time.
do this myself.
I walk in, I'm like, what do you know about arms race? And I literally go, like, if it's a new employee, because turn over at certain places.
Yeah.
It's fucking astronomical.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what do you know about arms race? And I go, I'm not offended if you tell me nothing.
Yeah.
That's why
right.
I'm here.
Yeah,
right.
And then I just ease it up with like, well, what do you need from me? How can I help you?
Kind of like a client who goes off plan. It's like, tell me what you did so
Yeah.
I can help fix it.
Yeah.
If you lie and say you've been killing it, why is your weight up?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, let me help you. You know, when people are open and honest about everything, and you likewise, it just goes so far. I think that's just what was the store that we went to before this? We've done 3 events, and they've all been pretty similar to Try It. Try It, I believe, it's got to be the biggest one so far, especially just because it's no big deal. But it was the one in New York, and then before that was Quincy. And it's very similar. Like I feel like I've said similar stuff to it, and maybe that's a connection that you guys need to make with those guys too, only because you guys are very similar.
Yeah.
Like I'm not connecting you with GNCs or whatever, or
Like-minded
whatever.
people.
Like-minded, dude. Like we walk away from
Communities.
those like when we left the Quincy store, I went to the owner's son's house who was sick to thank him for inviting us out. But if it was a weird situation, I wouldn't. I'd probably just be like, I would do my normal thing, but I wouldn't go above and beyond because they didn't do it for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you go to these places and you're like, dude, why was everyone so nice? It's like education was there. You're on point. You didn't call me Justin. It's just a never ending thing where you're like, it resonates with you.
Yeah.
For people who take pride in or are protective of the amount of time that they have. And like, dude, I don't got all the time in the world. We got families, we got kids, we got shit to get home to. If I'm here with you, let's make the most out of this time. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like we said, like, let's not go sit at home and sit. We're going to stay there for the rest of the night. You know what I mean? This podcast might not happen, but getting it going and stuff.
We'll see if we get approval from Ryan to put this up.
Yeah. Ryan.
Ryan, is there a thumbs up?
We're doing good so far. We're doing good.
Just nobody say anything stupid.
Probably past that aspect.
Shit.
So I actually just personally have a question I need for my mind. you guys come from S2. I didn't know that. So what is the process? Like, what did you take from there that you learned to implement it into what you did? Because you didn't copycat them at all, but you definitely probably took, like, what I noticed is community. I'm not saying one's better than the others, but it's very interesting. Like you have created a brand, you move to a place nowhere near, it's just so interesting. So like, what did you take away from that? And the only reason I asked that is because like, I know Doug and, Carl over the Nutrition Corners, they took a lot from Andy. Like they sat down with Andy and they're like, oh, we need to implement this stuff today. What really like got you to be like, oh, we can do this and we can do it our way?
Yeah. I feel like you would have a good explanation for this, but I could be wrong. I have one if you're
just stoned.
You're like, I'm spacing out.
I'm just kidding. No, I think
I was holding it together. Clearly not.
You're doing great.
Your shirt's off.
Guys having a panic attack. No. So I think like, there was a lot of the aspect. I think there's a couple of specific things. One was, I think you always have communities within communities, right? And I think that's a good aspect to it too, where at S2, we were at Springfield. In Springfield, we weren't in St. Louis. And it's not to say that anybody in St. Louis is doing anything wrong. I think they run a great company. But we were kind of on our own little island there. And a lot of what we were doing was running a lot of, how those businesses were done day to day. We were kind of doing, how we saw fit, And so we were very big, and S2 rewards this, but we were very big on just like helping people, right? And finding the right things. And so I think we had the right group of people down there that all had a very similar mindset of like, man, let's just help people. Like, who gives a shit if we make more money? Like, who gives a shit if like we make whatever? Right. And you have to have that right community of like, we all sat there and we're like, you know what? Like, if we do this, if we do that, then we make this. And if we don't, we make that. And it's like, I don't really care. Yeah. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, I'm just here. I will always go to sleep feeling fine. You know what I mean? And I will always feel good. And so I think one of the big things, and probably the biggest thing that S2 kind of gave to us that we kind of twisted in our own way is education. So S2 has a exceptionally high level of like expectation for education. And so we took a lot of that too. So we have our whole staff is NASM certified as well. But our real nutcracker is our in-house test. So our in-house test is, do you know how many questions it is?
I think it's like a total of 75 pages. So probably
it's like 184, I think.
I would drop out.
Intimidating.
All written answers.
Handwritten essays.
Kill me.
Takes
you'd be like, well, Julian got 2. 2 out of 75. You left all of them blank. You didn't even try. Give me multiple choice. Fuck.
You typed in Herbie Hancock.
Yeah. You just wrote your name over and over. I don't fucking know, bro.
But yeah, it's I'd say our average test time right now is about 11 hours. And you have to pass that to take a customer. To get a polo, you got to pass
11 hours over, of course, spare time. You don't like lock them in a room for
one sitting.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, they show up open typically on like a Saturday and go until they're done.
Do you pay them for that amount?
No, yeah, we pay him.
I was curious.
We pay him. We buy him dinner and stuff, and like there's a little like incentive, but the whole idea is like we have a standard of education that if somebody comes into the store, I want whether it's my newest employee or my oldest employee, if somebody comes in and says, "Tell me exactly the science of creatine monohydrate and why it's beneficial to take and how much I should take," I want them talking about ADP to ATP like replenishment, and I want them talking about cell volumization, and I want them like getting through like the actual science and having a genuine understanding of how that works. Because again, I think that just like anything else in this industry that we've been talking about, is the standard is very low. It's find the buffest dude who gets jacked and like pretty easily, and is like,
what subs do you recommend that I take?
Right.
Tren.
Right. Okay. Exactly. It's like, dude, this dude can gnaw on this fucking counter and gain muscle.
Yeah.
Like, it's like at the end of the day, it's like, I remember going to
dude snacking on pine cones. Let's fucking give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll do pine cones. Okay. Pine cones sounds fucking great, man.
Wait, that sounds like someone I know.
But like, I remember going into a supplement store and and this is when I was like in high school, and I remember asking the guy like, hey, what does creatine do? And I always use creatine as the example because of this story. And I was like, what does creatine do? And the guy who happened to be the manager said, man, I don't really know, but I chipped my tailbone one time and it helped. I feel like it healed really fast.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, cool, man. I guess it does have something to do with your bones. And I just moved on with my life. And then like the further and further, being in supplements now for 12 years, I'm like, oh God. Like that was his standard. Like that was that store standard of what they were teaching. And it's like, man, we can't do that. I want to feel comfortable. And I think this is just, again, coming from not just Kevin, myself, or, anybody on staff, where it's like, I think we would feel wrong if we weren't 100% certain that any person at any store in perpetuity were to take a customer that they couldn't give you accurate and good advice.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I can't even trust that as the base level, well, then it's like, man, well, then I'm kind of like, well, then what is this for? Like, what am I really doing?
And that also says a lot. That's got to be like a nice way to like weed out some of the people that aren't worthy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just give them a test. Oh, fuck that. How many people are going to see that and go hard?
Yeah.
Nah, done.
Our number one,
we don't fucking want you, bro. Yeah.
Well, and it's a real test in a lot of ways too, because, and this is probably what you might be thinking too, but our number one metric for hiring an employee, we call DHAT score. Kevin, what's DHAT score?
You always make me say it.
It's funny when I make you
Dick
say
hardness about triad.
Yeah, that sounds like a Doug thing. Doug would be loving that. Dick hardness about triad.
And this is why we get along with Doug.
Dick hardness about nutrition corners.
Yeah. Doug's going to use that Monday like he invented it. So I'm just
How do you
know
say that though? Dick hardness about nutrition corners. Pronounce that. Say that.
No, he'll say that sentence and throw everyone off.
No.
There's not even an acronym. He's just going to fuck you up.
I want to hear what that would sound like.
Oh, God.
Dahad nut?
Dahad nuts. The
I need some more Dahad nuts out of you. Damn it.
But again, it's like, we don't just want the person who can pass an 11-hour test. We want the person who says, fuck yeah, I'll take an 11-hour test, because I want to be here and I want to kick ass every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I take no days off. I take no interactions off. I'm here to fucking kill it all the time.
Yeah.
And the dude who's like, I don't want to take an 11-hour test is like, that's not, we've had people in to a testament to it. We've had people fail the test and we're like, take it a fucking again.
Yeah.
And they're like, hell yeah, I will. And it's like, but that's it.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, we're not trying to fail you. We're testing you.
Right.
Can you handle this?
And it's like, if it's the same thing with our interview process. We're a fucking supplement store and we have 3 interviews to get hired on here. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if it's part of the grind, it's part of the, can you make it? It's part of the, do you want this? Because we can, and I don't mean to sound like boasting or bragging, but it's like, we're moving at a pace as a company where it's like, I need motherfuckers who are here to work and do shit.
Get on the train or stand by watching.
Right. And I don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. None of our people have enough time for me to be like making you want to do this. Like, I can't spend my time doing that. I have to spend my time getting the people who want to do this ready for their next spot.
Yeah, for real. Mm-hmm. No, I think that's really cool. I like how you guys have always done that. So you guys have done that test always, like since you've had the stores, or something you decided to like add in.
We implemented it. It was something that was your similarity to supplements. There was a level of education. So
how'd you guys go about finding those questions? Just thought to yourself, let's pool a bunch of shit that we would want to know or that commonly asked stuff.
Let me paint a picture for you. So
what if he just whipped out like paint?
I'd be like, whoa! He's like, check out my dry erase board.
Let me dry erase a picture for you. This was 2 years in. Original partners were headed out the door. They were going to pursue other things. Still very good friends with those guys. Mm-hmm. And we were hiring 2 of our 2 first employees, our first 2 W-2 employees. We didn't have any actual employees our first 2 years. Thank you, Thomas, for working for 6 months for free. We were hiring them on and going through training and making it up as we go. But we knew the important things, and that level of education was something that was very, very important for us. The level of customer service only comes backed up if you have that education behind it in our stores. So I knew I wanted to implement a test that took for fucking ever. Only I didn't have forever to write it. because I was working all 80 hours. The store is open in a week. So I just made a list of every supplement category that I could think of and every supplement ingredient that I knew was important, which is like 150 different ingredients. And I was like, I typed that on a Word document, put like 5 lines below it. And I was like, tell me about it and I'll grade it.
Yeah.
And that test took me all of 20 minutes to make. And takes all of 12 hours to take. So,
you're like, whew, have you taken it?
No, I think I'm the one that made it. Man, I wrote the book.
Yeah, I literally wrote that motherfucker, man. You think I'm taking that shit?
Well, and it's funny because now,
you're like, hell no, I got a lot to do in my day. 12 hours of that shit.
Because now all the other employees are like, hey, add this to it, add that to it. And it's like, we're always, but that's it. It's like, and it's evolved to, while it's funny how things find meanings, right? And it's like one of the things that I think found a meaning in this is like the structure of it, because people always ask, like, understandably, well, why is it not multiple choice? Well, it's not multiple choice when you're in the store. Like when somebody has a question about something, you don't get to pull from answers. You got to know it.
It's not kind of 5 grams. It's 5 grams.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, and then it's, we just give them a copy of the test blank and say, okay, go do your research, go figure it. And we check, and the managers are responsible making sure they have accurate information and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, why don't you give them the answers? Well, it's like, because when somebody comes in and asks a question that you don't know the answer to, I want you to understand how to go educate yourself quickly. I need you to understand how to do your own research, know trustworthy sources of information, where to find dosages, where to find test studies, whatever.
It's very slept on.
Yeah.
It's weird how much info's there, and you've probably experienced on Instagram or social media or something. People ask a question. It's like, you just type that into Google, you got to Siri that and get a pretty legit answer. You know what I mean?
Anymore,
For real, just you got to have that skill to do that. I didn't have that growing up.
Right.
I don't know what it was. It was just about like social media coming in, or not social media, but like Google being a little late and everything when I got it. But I remember, man, Google was just such a convenient thing, and it answered so much shit. And there were like questions I'd get. I'm like, man, I got to get the habit down of actually doing research when I'm presented with something I'm not familiar with, instead of just being like, didn't know that one.
Well, and that's
like,
how we
better
are
know that one.
Well, in the store, we're real honest with customers. If you don't know the answer, fucking tell the customer you don't know. People appreciate that vulnerability.
That was one of the first things I learned in my NASM course back in the day. They're like, dude, when you're a trainer, they're like, you don't want to lose all trust in your client by pretending you knew what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Like that dude who was like, oh, I'm pretty sure it fixed my tailbone. Whoa, you're an idiot.
Yeah, well, that's not even close.
If you just said I'm not sure, I'm going to look that up next time you're back in the store. I'm going to get you the answer. You'd be like,
or if he walked back to the computer, pulled his phone out, I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Yeah.
And that's what we do in the store. But it's like, I want you to have good, reliable sources for quick, like, hey man, you know what? I was just looking it up and it looks like it does this, it does that. So man, I have to put some more research to be sure, but at least anecdotally of what I found, like this is kind of what I got. And do customers love that because you're real.
Yeah. And they also I've noticed like the being humble, and well, not being humble, but it's like falling on your sword if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Hey man, I just checked this out. I don't think you should be taking this.
Yeah, right.
Dude, you should take this one over here.
Right.
Or like when some people, I was gonna ask this earlier, but when people come in and let's say they walk into your store and they're like, I'm looking for Alani Nu, you let them just go and get Alani Nu, right?
Yeah.
100%.
There's certain stores that have more incentive to push their brand. So, hey, I'm looking for Alani Nu. Oh, you know what? Have you thought about this? And it's like, sometimes that's the most fucking annoying thing ever.
Oh, dude.
I came to you and made it easy on you.
You're hitting a trigger.
Get out of my way.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? But it's like, dude, sometimes, would it be nice to sell your brand over everyone else's? Of course.
Absolutely.
Probably 100% out of everything else, you'd love to sell yours with the best profit, right?
10 times out of
But
10.
if somebody walks in there, it's like, I'd rather get a piece of them coming back and getting a different brand than just ruining a relationship.
Thank you.
Preach, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They are shopping here.
Yeah.
Don't lose that. At the end of the day, if we were walking through a triad door, fuck all. Perfect. Right. I was just talking about it earlier today, and I'll try to not be vulgar, but it's like,
Be vulgar.
don't try to fuck on the first date.
Yeah.
Like, why am I hold her hand, dude? If you're just like, oh, cool, you like the Alani Nu? That's super dope. I love their energy drinks.
Yeah.
Boom, move on, man. Whatever.
It's like pushing
Dishes
to
are
have
done,
sex
man.
on the first
Relationship.
date when the girl told you she loves you and wants to be with you forever. You're like, well, it's got to happen tonight. It's like, well, she just told you she's going to be with you forever, so just save that for like a couple days from now, or maybe a week. You know what I mean?
We want them coming back, man. That's all you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Is like, again, I don't care what they bought. I don't care if it was us. I don't care if it was the worst product in the store. Were they excited about Triad? Were they excited about you? And you do that by like, oh, cool, man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
They wanted a snack, not the whole kitchen.
Yeah, right.
Dude, what are we talking about?
Dude, one thing that really is like kind of like a mind fuck for new employees is when we have to tell them that there are products on the shelves that we don't want to sell. And it's like, because it is not a good product.
That's a mindfuck for me. Tell me about that.
I love this. So
I already saw them out front. They're on the top shelf.
you mean it's not like top shelf whiskey?
Oh no, I know supplements and sales. I saw it up there, and I'm like, I'm glad it's the same here.
Sorry to any brands that have their products on the top shelf, but
You mean the arms race shelf?
Shit.
Later, burn this book down.
but I touched on this earlier, but it is a big part of our business model is to have those products that are a terrible quality. We're not making any margin on it. Everybody sells them. It's a price race to the bottom. And it's just like, there's literally no reason that I would sell this, but someone will come in just because we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we make our money back, in my opinion, that's free advertising.
Yeah.
All day. Like that's the most common one that always happens is like, hey, you guys have this. My buddy told me I need to be taking it. Okay, bet. What is it? Is it like detrimental to your health? Like, is it a pro hormone or something? If I can check through that box, then it's like, okay, cool, man. Yeah, we got it right over here, man.
Yeah.
Have you tried it before? Oh, dope, dude. Like, yeah, we sell a ton of it, man. And that's it. Like, I'm just here to be cool.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like lose the battle, win the war, man.
Yeah.
You can, it might take you 20 trips to the store before you're taking something better, but it's like, who cares?
Yep.
You're shopping with us.
Yeah.
If we didn't have that product in the first place, we might not ever have a
You've
chance
never
to
seen it.
get you to take something that would be better for
That's
you.
exactly right.
1000%.
I got to pee really bad. Don't make fun of me.
We're gonna make so much fun of Thomas.
Dude, I can't believe that fucking dude, man. Unbelievable.
Dude,
That mother-
I gotta have him on the podcast just
yeah.
as a friend, you know.
Well, I'd recommend getting rid of him because this has been horrible. Just kidding.
I knew when you poured yourself a little more whiskey, you're like, man.
Dude, we're making a dent on that Angel's Envy.
Dude, so you've had Angel's Envy before, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm gonna get on my whiskey talk a little bit.
Talk it up.
Have you had the bourbon?
Oh.
Because this is a little bit different.
You know what?
You should notice it's potentially a little bit more spicier and sweeter.
I was thinking that. I was like, I don't know if I'm like lit up off your weed or the cigar paired with it, because I know cigars can help out and whiskey can help taste in a cigar. But I've never had this actually.
I think it's that. Like,
That's cool.
When I sipped it,
It's
a little different.
Yeah.
It's a rye finished in rum casks.
Sick.
So it's like spicy from the rye, sweet from the rum casks. Super, super good.
Well, you know what?
I love that the back of it is like.
Now that I thought this was
every
something
small
else, I
town.
should probably pour a little more.
Yeah, go
Get to
for
the
it.
bottom of this.
Why not? Either that or you can take some home with you if you want.
Sneak that on your flight.
I was just going to say, I'm taking on plane.
I'll pour a little bit more with you.
Yeah, there we go.
How has your guys' experience been? I know that you've probably been hanging out with us and mostly at our events and kind of hanging out at our locations. What's the overall experience been with Oklahoma? Have you guys been to Oklahoma before?
First time I've been to Oklahoma.
I've been here, just not this area.
Probably the GNCs.
GNC's and driving through. I mean, I don't stop too often.
But you know
the cool thing?
What's up?
I'm definitely gonna be back soon.
Hey, let's go.
I like I said, I was impressed.
Dude, Patrick's a big seller for Oklahoma, man. He loves to visit.
He loves Oklahoma.
Dude, I really like it here.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Dave on the way, and I'm like, I really actually like it here. Maybe it's just because of where I live in Oregon. It feels very like country. It feels very like you're kind of an industrial complex, and before you know it, you're like, there's fucking horses.
Yeah.
There's horses all over the place. You know what I mean? So I like that kind of stuff. Like as much as when people ask where I'm from, I always say Portland because that's the only thing people know. But I'm from Hillsboro, which is pretty close to like the coast range, maybe 45 minutes or so to the coast. But it's like, you just have that country. I mean, you've been out there. You got the gym, you got the neighborhoods, and then you just kind of keep going, and then you're in the pucker brush. You know what I mean?
We just moved into a new neighborhood. I say this is a couple years ago, but we live a little bit north of here. And my wife's favorite part of leaving in the morning is that there are cows. If you look to the left, leaving our neighborhood, there's cows over to the left.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll pull up to it. Like I do that shit with Tommy. I'll pull up to it and I'll pull up to a cow like very close to the truck. And I'm like, seriously, where do we go? Is it up here and take a right? I'm talking to and Tommy just thinks it's so funny. I'm like, take a right at the, okay, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. And the cow's just like, what the fuck, man?
I heard you guys giggle as I ran away. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We were
I
making
feel
a lot of fun of it.
self-conscious.
Yeah, we were.
Shit talking.
Was it my run?
Yeah. your hips shaking as you ran away.
When you ran away, did your heels have to touch your butt?
Stop!
He's kicking him.
Dude. Was never a good runner.
We were commenting on your grandma, but
Stop.
What were I actually had something that I wanted to touch on about the topic before you took off. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about products that we don't necessarily want to sell and like lose the battle, win the war, in the sense of like, I don't have to win you today. This is a team.
Yeah.
This is a team effort towards like eventually helping you. Genuinely, that's the goal.
Yeah. I think something like that, and we've talked about it enough, but it's just unique to have that. It's unique to, it's almost like I kind of refer it sometimes to like, the lottery when they say, hey, you could either have it over the course of 40 years or you take the lump sum now.
Right.
What should you do?
Oh, I'm going to take the years
Thank you.
all the time.
Yeah, because you lose half of it
Yes,
in getting it immediately with taxes, but you take it long term and people think short term. I want to fucking sell. When's this guy coming back?
Yeah.
Dude, how often do you, when you have a good interaction with somebody, do you talk about it? I talked about that guy immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, that top pony motherfucker. I'm like, I want him to come to Oregon and hang out. He's cool as hell, man.
You know his dad's from New Zealand? I thought that was a good
He
thing.
seems like he's from, you know what?
he-
God
he's-
damn, he just got cooler.
Yeah.
What's happening,
That's
dude?
what I'm saying. He's just a cool guy.
Yeah.
He's just-
So
I
he's
can't believe
wonderful.
Will brought up New Zealand.
Yeah.
that is his whole personality.
It's so
Yeah.
funny.
That's what I mean. Like, I found that out yesterday. I'm like, that makes so much sense.
But you know what? He didn't say it to me.
No.
And it resonated deep now.
Yes.
That's right.
Kept that little gem
It
for
made
me.
sense.
Right.
Yeah.
My New Zealand homie.
Speaks volumes for just being that person instead of telling everybody
Right.
that person.
Hey,
How
find
much
out.
money does he get since we brought him up like 4 times?
Oh, nothing. He loses money every time we bring him up.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right,
Will.
so somebody
$100.
else.
We did have a segment where we made fun of Will like 10 podcasts in a row.
Yeah, it was like to make fun of Will time.
We did it accidentally 10 times in a row.
Well, I'm going to say he's got me beat on hair. He's got to go.
Dude, if you'd have seen him a week ago, he had braids.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
He went to Costa Rica.
Turks and Caicos. Yeah.
Looking like,
Yeah.
what's that movie, Captain Ron? With like the long hair, he's got the single braid. Actually, that looks sick. But that kind of stuff's, it's just, it goes so far when you have, it takes the same amount of energy to be negative or positive.
Yeah.
And what are you going to remember? Probably both equal.
Yeah.
Because that interaction I had back in the day with that dude at that vitamin shop, when I went in there and asked for some, this was on like a bodybuilding.com podcast, but I went in there and I was like, dude, I'm getting ready for my first show. I'm 19. I'm going to be doing the, Pacific Coast over blah, blah, blah. And he's the guy that was at the front desk at the vitamin shop. He's like, dude, you need to talk to this guy behind me. He literally won the overall at the Oregon State. And I like turned over just fucking stoked. I was like, dude, are you for real? Back then there was nobody famous. It was like IFBB pros or like the next big thing going to nationals. And this guy was one of them. And he turned around to me and he was just like, he like looked literally like this. He was like, I don't have time. Like shrugged me off, dude. I like teared up.
Yeah.
Went out in my truck and I was like, I felt stupid as fuck. And it was just such a bummer moment. But I was like, I remember that dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 37,
Forever.
dude,
Yeah.
and I was 19 when that happened. And
Yeah.
I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
You could have molded me in the right direction
Yeah.
and done anything but that.
You might have been partners with him.
Could
For
you,
real?
could you imagine like current day if he helped you? Hey, I helped Julian Smith.
Yeah,
dude.
Bro, he passed away.
People wouldn't say that you're,
Yeah.
I was going to say people wouldn't say your legs are so attainable.
Yeah. This guy is fucking attainable, bro. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. This dude's small.
It's funny and kind of talking back to what you were saying. One of the, because it sounds, and I say this and it's weird because it almost sounds like it couldn't be genuine, but it is super genuine. And it's super counterintuitive. But my absolute favorite thing in the store is when people go, wait, you guys make Define? And we go, yeah. And they go, really? And I go, yeah. What do you mean? And they're like, well, like nobody's ever recommended me a Define product. And I was like, well, it just never made sense for you, I guess. That's it.
We don't make every
goes
category.
so far.
Right. And you're like, oh yeah, like, well, you never said things that made a Define product make sense for you. Like we don't, And I was like, oh yeah.
It's almost like when your parents say you shouldn't smoke and then you're like, fuck you. Guess who's grabbing cigarette butts out of the Elmer's parking lot ashtray? Sorry, bro. That was a little too close to home.
I was going to say,
that was very specific.
Bro, dude, I grew up in the 90s, man. I was doing weird shit. But no, dude, it's cool, man. I could do these kind of podcasts all fucking day with people like you guys because there's not people like this in the industry. Yes. I've done podcasts. I've had people in my gym, friends. I mean, just because you got people that are a little off doesn't mean you're not buddies with them, right?
Yeah,
some of those, of the meathead juice dudes are some of my best friends.
Sure.
They're fucking incredible, right? But sometimes you get with the right people and you're like, you're just doing it different. It's almost like you guys were raised by people to put you almost like you're the second generation of people that own sub shops. The first gen was Vitamin Shop and GNCs, and that, let's call that our parents.
Yeah.
And they're the people who would sit there and say, hey, don't go investing in a business if you're not going to be actually working in the business. But imagine being like my dad or one of our parents who wants to invest in a sub company because this GNC's killing it. And they're like, well, I'm not going in there. I don't know shit about this.
Right.
You're just never going to get a community or family built into that. You're going to get people who walk in there and, I mean, bro, I've walked into GNCs and not that people need to know who I am, but I'll ask about products and stuff. And I'm like, I'll literally look at it and be like, who's this guy on the back? and like, I've had a guy look at it and go, I never even noticed that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, don't even say anything. I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm already feeling stupid. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll walk out of here. But it's like, it's me. Yeah. But it's notice me. But it's kind of just one of those things where, you know, when I hear that you don't push people towards certain brands, it's like that just goes so far with me.
Yeah.
You know, because it makes me think like, bro, if they're not forcing it, it's probably rad. You know what I mean? If they're not shoving it down my throat for me to buy it, and they're not in like this weird competitive whatever to get me to buy it, maybe it's selling really well outside of me.
It's moving in spite of that.
Yeah, like just because I'm not buying it and they're not talking to me, who's buying all this stuff?
Yeah,
right.
Because they're almost always like, well, can I try some?
Yeah,
for real. Yeah, of course. You want some samples?
Yeah.
And they're like, my God, what do you mean? Like,
Samples exist still?
Yeah. Like,
where can I send my email?
Yeah. And I'm like,
get my email address.
I'm like, shit, I'll mix you up some right now. You want to try it? Like, whatever.
I think the funniest thing too is when we finally end up talking about Define, when it's like the recommendation actually does make sense. It's like we almost feel bad about it and we have to like bring it up. Like we have to preface the whole recommendation of like, heads up, like I'm going to recommend a Define product. This is our own brand and I'm super biased to it because I helped make this product. Because there's 16 of us on staff and everybody has their hand in flavoring, formulation, product design, like everything. And it's like, I'm naturally going to be biased and I just want you to know that, but this is one of my favorites and this is why I recommend it. But it's like, we want to make sure you know that it's like, I'm recommending this for a reason. So just know.
I don't want to go. You don't want them to go home, research, see that you own it.
Right.
Like, that guy only did it because of that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, we're always straight up. We're very, that's like training 101. Someone asks about Define, you are like, bring up that we fucking make it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's ownership too. And I think it says a lot. At the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, I'm confident. Like, this is what we talked about. I asked you all these questions and everything you said points me to this.
yeah.
I didn't even realize you guys owned it till I think you pointed out towards the end. I was like, oh, fuck.
Love that.
And honestly, I love that a lot of the stores that we have done events at lately, at least the stores I've done events at lately, the successful ones I've really liked make their own brand too. Like it's been very interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not built around that.
Well, you know what? Let's take it back for a second, okay?
It's always
you can't have a sporting event without the other team.
Yeah.
Can you have a supplement industry without fucking competitors?
Yeah.
True.
You probably could, but it's like, who are you comparing it to? Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if I would get into any industry if there was one person involved in it. I'd be like, I'll wait till a few more get involved before I go trying this shit out. And I think that's kind of like, Doug and David and the dudes over at Core, man, they'll start drinking Ghost energy drinks.
Yeah.
Man, I'll fucking drink Alani. Dude, I'm a fan of this shit.
Yeah, right.
I like this stuff. And I like Hayden and Katie. I think they're good people. I like the people at Ghost. I worked with a lot of people that are athletes on Ghost when I was with them on Optimum. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, all of us bodybuilders and fitness people, we got really lucky with social media.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't be doing any of this shit if social media didn't pop out. So now we're all lucky enough to be doing fitness stuff. We're in the same spot. So let's just kind of encourage each other.
At the end of the day,
a
like we get paid to do it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I'll never forget. I had this one time. We were at the Arnold. I think it was 2 years ago. We're sitting around a bonfire with Doug and the team, and Doug just smiles and goes, "We got paid today." Like, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
And I always look at it like that. Like, you could have the normal 9-to-5 job, but like you get paid to just help people.
Let's take a second here. I think everybody in one way or another got paid today to do what we did. Right?
Yeah.
We're sitting here right now.
I'm on vacation.
We appreciate you being here.
We appreciate you spending your vacation with us.
I had to be paid to be here for sure.
The only other person I know is taking a vacation to Oklahoma is Patrick May.
That's because he really loves it.
One of the things that you brought up a second ago, and I think it's really interesting. But again, man, it just like comes back to like the perspective. Like you said, the stores that are doing well are also ones who have brands, and I think it's like, because you can understand both sides. You can understand like us as a brand, we know going in and talking to it, we've had a good amount of, especially recent success, especially moving one of our really good employees Ian to part-time doing just Define wholesale and kind of like increasing our, wholesale aspect of Define, not just being a Triad, but, we're in multiple states and a lot of different stores and different chains of stores. And one of the things that we can bring is like the unique perspective of like, I know what you need.
Yeah.
I know what you need. And it's the same thing from like the opposite. It's like, I know what moves in a store. I know what people are asking for. I know what people are looking for. And it's so funny because it reminds me today, one of the most common compliments I got today that just made me laugh. And it was because like it was a role I was in. But, for anybody who doesn't know, everybody on staff that works in the stores does 1 4-hour sample event a week. So you're at a table, at a gym, at an event or something, 4 hours a week, every week, like, every week of the year. And we do that. And I have a really good understanding of what it's like to stand at a table at an event, right? I know what it's like. So that's when decisions are going into it, it's like, no, get the fucking tent.
Yeah.
Cover them from the sun, right? And you know what? And this was the unique compliment that we got was that we had myself and Hasiel today where our main job was like vendor help. Like relieve somebody who needs to go to the bathroom, step in and take a customer inside and help them with
I
it.
could have went to the restroom.
He's like, I just pissed my pants over and over.
Let it roll.
Bro, I told you to go to the bathroom, man. You
did.
pooped your own
You did.
pants, man.
But it's
I don't know, bro.
but it's like we were taking customers in and helping customers, talk to them, finishing out the interaction for the vendor or, somebody was going to get food or whatever. And I remember just being like, well, you guys have like 2 people just dedicated to make sure the vendors are like getting everything they need. Like if we need like water or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's like, nobody has ever done that.
I don't think they have.
And it's like, dude,
None
because
that I've been at.
it's because, dude, I know what it's like to be at a table for 6 hours and have no help because I'm there by myself and I don't feel like I can go pee.
Go to the bathroom, come back, your line's 30 minutes long again.
I can't do anything. I'm out of water and I'm baking in the sun. And I'm like,
meanwhile, you're smiling and telling everybody you're having the best time of your life. Dude, if I could be anywhere, I'd be here with you.
Yeah.
We're just
exactly right.
You guys are the ones doing the work today. It was us just hanging out taking money. Honestly.
But next time I'm putting you in an arms race shirt, bro. Just stand behind the fucking table, man. I'm just kidding.
But again, it's like it is that perspective. At least from for us, it's like it is that perspective of like, dude, I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I know what the other side of that table's like, and like, man, let me cater to that. Like, why not? Like, it doesn't take that much more effort for us to like make sure you guys are all comfortable too.
And how many people investing in sub companies have done that? They haven't. Who's been at the bottom of the barrel and eventually gotten to a point where they have enough money to buy a sup shop sup shop and do it the right way. Nobody does. You know what I mean? Usually it's these, like I mentioned before, it's like some super wealthy person. You see it a lot with GNC where it's like, I bought 10 stores.
Yeah.
And I'm in the Grand Cayman Islands, like monitoring it. It's like, well, dude, you're not really doing anything there. And it's like, I see people like you and it's like, you're bringing it's the skate shop vibe.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll go fucking pop. Like, I remember driving by certain places and be like, oh, my friend works, so I'm gonna pop in.
Yeah.
Or it's just got the vibe. Like, I know that it's not going to be like a used car lot when I get there. I'm just going to go and do my thing and I'm welcome.
Yeah.
You know, it goes a long ways, man. Like, people want to feel welcome. People want to be around people. I think, were we talking about the whole solitary confinement?
Yeah.
A little bit like the worst thing you can do to people is keep them alone and put them in solitary confinement. So people want to be around each other. Even if you're a fucking, oh, bro, I don't like being around people, man. I don't like doing my own thing. It's like, you eventually want to be around people.
At least a
You
little
eventually want to let them know what's going on in your life. And sometimes people, I mean, kind of like a mental illness kind of a thing, but like being aware, but it's like, sometimes people don't have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And I felt that a lot today. Like even that Ron guy, it's like, you know, he was such a nice dude, but it's like, I mean, if you have a problem speaking, it's like, you might not even put in an effort to talk to somebody because you're like, does this guy even want to work on understanding what I'm saying? You know, I've talked to people who don't speak English very well, and it's like, they're ready to cut that convo short. And I'm like, dude, if you're willing to sit here with me and let me get through some of this, I'll hang out and try to get through this for an hour, bro. You know, and that makes people feel good. It's a big thing.
Ron always gets me. He, especially when I was working in Stormore, he'd come in and talk shit every time I was on shift. That's Ron for you.
That's Ron.
And that's how he got me. That's why I like Ron.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that you were saying was walking around with you earlier?
Hasiel.
Is that the upbeat dude who was really energetic? I liked him, man.
He broke our drink machine
and the
twice.
other guy, Will. Is the other dude's name Will?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those two stood out to me. There was a few kids that came up to me that were working that had Triad shirts on, and I think they were just a little shy. Same level of excitement and everything, but like that guy, what was his name again?
Hasiel.
Dude.
Well, and we
fist bumps, man. I couldn't get a fist bump past that fucking guy. He was like me, dude.
Yeah.
I limited his fist bumps today.
Bro, dude, kick the fuck. I want more. Next time I'm double the quota, man. I'm a police officer. I need more. But that kind of vibe, it's like, it just puts you in a good mood.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's like, have you seen that interview with Tom Platz where he's talking about Arnold? He's like, I met Arnold back in the day, and he's like, you see him and people like him, and he's enthusiastic and he's happy, and the way that he describes it, he's like, it made me want to be happy.
Yeah.
It made me want to be like that towards other people. You be around somebody who's nice, you're like, man, I just want to be nice.
Yeah.
You guys fucking cool as hell. Like I have just met him today and I feel like I've known him forever.
Yep.
There's a reason we put him outside with everybody, and there's a reason we put Will right inside the door.
Yep. Well, what's funny is, and I don't know if you guys are coming back to dinner tonight. But you guys will see one of the
Still
coolest
gotta
things.
work out,
One of the coolest things that we do on Sample Triad night is we're going to be finishing up here in a second because we are running late on time.
Told you we were going to go all night with me, bro. We don't stop.
But I can say this because it'll only be us that know it right now.
Yeah.
But at Sample Triad dinner, we do our yearly awards banquet too.
Oh, sick.
So we give out our awards to our employees, and the two people that you've named, Will, and now tonight, he doesn't know, and this won't go out until Thursday, but Will won it last year, and Hasi's going to win it this year, is our No Interactions Off, and it's our Best Customer Service Award.
Yeah.
And it is being that guy.
Yeah.
It is that, just like that upbeat, like, dude, you walk into a Triad and you leave Hasi's best friend.
Yeah.
Like you're wanting to fuck, you're going to the bar, whatever it is. And it's
I walked past him, and he was bullshit with me all day, but I just had like a good little interaction when I was walking out. And I just turned over to somebody and they're like, when are you flying out? And I was like, I'm fucking staying all night because of this guy. Yeah. But I just like off the cuff, but it was like, it just felt like you're bullshitting with your homie. And it's like, I feel like maybe that didn't mean a lot, but I don't even think he heard it. But that person would sit there and be like, man, they knew who I was. Because they wanted to get a picture with me. Sure. And I think they made that connection of like, or I think they've been to the store a little bit, but it just goes to show you like that person's interaction are validated by somebody else saying something. Dude, that guy made a comment, didn't need to. And that just goes to show that guy is a fucking good dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You could tell everybody how good of a dude is, but until you see it on your own, it's like, oh, that dude's a good guy.
Yeah. It's like, like you said, it's just fucking infectious, man. It's just like, he's fun to be around. You want to enjoy that kind of presence. And it's like, and and that's it. And you guys will see us talk about them tonight when we give them the awards. So
I'm gonna scream my ass off.
fucking do it.
Oh yeah, baby! Like I've known him forever.
Yeah.
Who is that? Is that your older brother? I met him today.
Yeah. but the point exactly. You met him today.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I can't tell you how many people feel that way about customers, because it's like, dude, like he's just like, dude, he wants to be your friend. Like he just wants that. And it's like, I told him, like, when we were getting started, because this is his first year being outside, and I've been outside, the last few years. And it's like, I'm like, dude, your job is to like help the vendors and be the hype man. You're out here for a reason. It's because you are who you are. Yeah. Fucking put it on display today, dude.
For real, dude.
And he's like, fuck yeah, let's go. And started saying a bunch of 19-year-old kid shit. I don't know what it means. Let's go. Yeah, and I'm like that? Fucking, it was like, I don't even
stand up in this.
Yeah, whatever that shit means. And I'm like, all right, dude, cool. Like, let's fucking do it.
Oh, it's just bussin'.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Cam says that. Bussin'.
No cap.
Yeah.
No cap.
You got it.
Hey, no caps in this
They're gonna be
podcast.
like,
I'm
you guys
learning.
are.
You said it like you know.
I got gray, man. I'm not got no shame in this fucking gray hair, man. I'm getting old. Look at my beard.
Speaking of which, we do have dinner in about 18 minutes. So yeah. Well, fuck, guys, this was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
This goes by so fast, man.
Same time next year.
Yeah, dude.
I might just hang out tomorrow.
Part 2.
Just us by ourselves. I told David to ruin his fucking day to hang out with us. Yeah. But I think this was all good. And if we do these again, we'll have to make sure this is no matter what each time I'm here.
Yeah,
Getting the podcast going.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
We do
cool.
it every year.
Yeah.
We do sample try it every year, man.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Well, yeah, I
We'll be
think,
here.
hell yeah.
I just want to give, my appreciation to you guys, not only for coming on the podcast and kind of getting to show, our community, a little bit of who you are on a personal level, but even more so being here in Oklahoma City, coming to this event so that you can show who you are on a personal level to our community. And like, that's such a cool thing, man, because there, with being so much negative when it comes to the fitness industry and social media and stuff, having people like you guys who are recognizable and good dudes and genuine dudes and honest dudes come out and show them like, hey, not everybody fucking sucks. Like, I think that's such an important aspect for people, especially younger people, older people, whatever, who are trying to get into this and trying to find their own rhythm.
Coming from a dude who thought a lot of people sucked.
Yeah. Where it's like you get to meet like, dude, there's nothing like more underwhelming than meeting somebody like you were hoping was going to be cool and then they're kind of not, and it's like, so you guys, spending the time and the effort to come out here and like have the opportunity for, our customer base and our community that we've created here to kind of get to know you guys, even just for the day. It means a ton to us, man. And I know it means a ton to them. And again, it just more positive things coming from the fitness community, doing stuff the right way. And it's like, I even though this podcast doesn't have the biggest platform yet, it's like I love that it's become a host of like the positive changes happening in the fitness and supplement nutrition like industry. And so I say fitness supplements nutrition every time now, it's just stuck in my head. But it's like the supplement industry and the fitness industry, it's like being like, dude, there's a beacon of light of positive, good people out here doing it the right way. And unfortunately, sometimes that gets overshadowed by all the negative shit that happens. And so it's like having you guys here, not just in person, but on the podcast to show like, dude, like there's fucking good people, good stuff out there. Keep doing what you're fucking doing, guys. We love it. We love you guys. This
Appreciate
is awesome.
it, man. This is a great time.
A lot of fun. Thank you guys. I know both of you are very, very busy. Appreciate both of you guys making the time, not just to be at the event, but to be on the podcast as well. You guys bring a lot of...
Oh, man, I'm so bummed I had to do this podcast and drink your alcohol and smoke your cigars and smoke your weed. This is awesome.
Time.
I'm having a great time.
And it's and yeah, number one, it very much appreciate you guys coming out. It brings a lot of validity to us, especially like, I know we talk about social media and I pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but man, I have no idea what it's like to get to the following that you have. It's incredible, man. Hats off to you. I think a lot of people would love to be there. The brand itself, man, we love being associated with you guys. You're very like-minded. We bring people on the podcast that we feel like we mesh well with. And third and foremost, it was really, really fun. Like, this was a genuinely enjoyable podcast. Again, I told you guys when we started that we only do this because we want to have fun with it and we don't set any guidelines to it. And you guys were awesome guests. Like genuinely enjoyed sitting here and hanging out with you guys. Like we just happen to have mics in our hands.
Yeah, for real.
That's the way it should be, man. And like it just feels like bullshit with your buddies and someone put mics in front of you. I'd be doing this at home.
Exactly.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's good.
That's how it started.
Well, shit. What episode is this?
32. Do
32.
you guys have anything that you'd like to say before we get going?
What other vendor drove 15 hours for you?
Ooh.
Not a single one.
Oh, dude, I thought you were dropping that mic. I'm like, that fucking dude's gonna light you up, man. You just slammed
That was
those
a
mics.
fake out.
That was a fake. Dude, you caught that. Man, he was planning that for an hour, I think.
I've been just pondering over here. How do I end this really cool?
What's the correct amount to grab so I don't get in trouble?
Maybe.
No, it was great though, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anywhere you'd like to, I mean, everybody already follows you, but is there anything you'd like to share? Anything new that you're doing? Little sneak peeks or anything before we cut out?
Well, we did tease a little bit to the RTDs. I want to keep this.
Is Triad going to get the RTDs?
I feel like they should.
I feel like they should. They're going to a really tight spot.
I mean, we're buddies now.
Yeah. Hey, I know.
Black Friday they will launch.
Yeah, the RTDs we got coming out, the new rebranding with Arms Race Nutrition, partnership with you guys over here.
Yeah,
It's
this is great.
we were just talking on the way over here. We think 2024 is going to be a big year for Arms Race Nutrition, and it's just going to be a big year for making the right network connections and doing these collaborations where, you know, I think a lot of people are thinking, how do we get to the top? It's like, well, we want to go to the top with you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, as long as we can keep doing that and keep doing that, I mean, I'll do this shit forever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, shit, guys.
I like it.
Episode 32.
Yeah. Dude, next one, we got to get through this.
We almost did that. I think if Dave was getting a little bit more, we would have been done.
He's like, where the
Ryan
fucking
driving, we'll
drive,
drink
bro?
it on the way.
That's right. Brian, you're taking us, right? No. Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's like, fuck it.
Thanks
You
for
guys
watching,
pay
guys.
Thanks, guys.
That's it.